Hello, good morning, and welcome to the AM show. By the grace of God, we've gone through from Monday to Friday. We're just about wrapping up the whole week and to make way for a weekend. We are grateful to God, and if you have not said thank you, please find a way to say thank you to the Lord Almighty for making it possible for you to go through Monday to Friday. But how will the show be today? We'll start with the AM news. After that, we'll bring you the news review. We'll bring you the AM sports. Before we bring you the news review, where we have Dr. Kwame Nkrumah Botio, who is General Secretary of the CPP, coming on the show. Ebenezer Kofi Edo, engineer, is the MC for Ahanta West. He will be on the show as well. And then we delve into our big stories. And today, we take you to the camp of Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, the 2024 flag bearer of the NPP. Now, the former vice president and former flag bearer of the NPP is seeking re-election as a party's presidential candidate. What are his chances, and what has been the case on the campaign trail? We have Dr. Kia Amwaku, who is deputy spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign. She will be joining us here today for breakfast. Every October, the University of Ghana makes time to engage with prospective students across the country, and this year is no exception. UG Open Day is a special event that opens our doors to prospective students, parents, guardians, headmasters, and teachers. This is also on our menu today. We also do drive-bys as well. And of course, the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair is just around the corner. We'll tell you much more about that particular fair. We'll also let you have your say today by opening the lines for you to join us with a thought on the issues that we'll be discussing here. This is how our breakfast will be. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for allowing us into your homes. My name is Samuel Kojo Brace, and I do this always with MFA Adeti. And the AM show is sponsored by Kenoga Company Limited and also by Syntex Tanks. Let's start with the AM news. Well, let's start the AM news from Parliament, where the Parliamentary Select Committee on Employment, Labour Relations and Pensions is exploring talks with the Trade Ministry over the surge of foreign cement in Ghana. The committee says loopholes are being exploited to import substandard cement, threatening local production and jobs. GASEM officials warned during an Accra visit that imported cement poses serious risks, and Chairman Joseph Apia-Boateng said the committee will seek solutions to protect local manufacturing and employment. Fatau Bayaga has more in the following report.
On the second day of its tour, the committee visited 3 companies in Accra, including GASEM Limited, Nestle and NutriFoods Ghana Limited. The committee said the visits form part of its oversight role to ensure companies comply with established procedures and to build meaningful relationships. After hearing GASEM officials raise concerns about cement imports and their impact on the local industry, Committee Chairman Joseph Apia-Boateng said the issue will be taken up to find a solution that strengthens the domestic sector.
That's something that we should take it up to maybe Minister of Trade for them to do something about it, because some are just passing the back door, using the back door to import cement into the country, and they have substandard products, and some too they dodge tax and all that because they are importing from different countries. So I think government has to do something about it to help the local manufacturers so that they can grow bigger.
He also called for tax incentives on imported raw materials for local brands like GASEM to boost employment and support the government's 24-hour economy initiative.
When we went to GASEM, that was the second place that we went today. And they also made mention about importation of their goods. And it's affecting them so much because whenever dollar goes up, it affects every importer. So we told them that, okay, fine, we'll convey the message to Parliament, and we'll capture in our report and see how best government can do to support GASEM, because we all know that GASEM is a a big company in the country, and they are doing so well because they've employed a lot of youth who are unemployers. And also, once government is also preaching about 24-hour economy, if they are able to import more and get less maybe tax, it will help the 24-hour agenda to be successful.
The visit provided a platform for the companies to share their achievements and challenges with the committee and to receive the committee's recommendations on improving efficiency and compliance with the required standards. For Joy News, Fatal Bayaga, Accra.
Now, the Minerals Development Fund is rolling out new measures to reduce the health impact of illegal mining on affected communities. Health facilities are already recording cases linked to heavy metal exposure in these mining areas. Administrator of the fund, Dr. Hannah Louisa Bisiu-Korte, says the government is taking a holistic approach to developing these communities. Nana Yaojima joined a breast screening exercise organized by the fund's Middle Belt office and has this report.
The dangers of illegal mining on the health of persons in mining communities are widely being manifested. Research has shown children in these communities are being born with deformities. The unregulated use of heavy metals like mercury and cyanide in Galamsey is among causes of such health conditions. Researcher at KNUST, Professor Paul Pokusampene, explains the smallest quantity of such heavy metals could negatively affect the human body.
But the child, when he ingests, is absorbed. This level of absorption is 50%. So if you took maybe fufu, which has these heavy metals contaminating the components that made the water that was made used to make the fufu, the child will absorb 50%, assuming that is 100 that was there. He absorbing 50 out of the 100.
In protecting the communities, the Minerals Development Fund is rolling out a plan to detect health conditions and support communities in dealing with them. The first phase of the health support includes screening for early detection of some cancer cases in mining communities. Administrator of the fund, Hannah Louisa Bisiu-Korte, explains intentions to roll out a holistic approach to health challenges in the area.
Because of the contamination of our water bodies and other stuff, cancer and other sicknesses or other infirmities, if you want to put it, have actually, has been afflicting our people living in the mining communities. The Mineral Development Fund is approaching the community development in a holistic manner, where if you are building a cheap compound, you are not building it for sick people. You want to build a cheap compound for prophylactic purposes, preventive. If you have to cure sometime, that's fine. But I want to make sure that our people are educated in terms of their health needs, and also things like breast cancer awareness. Yes, as we move forward, we move into cervical cancer screening and support for women.
Meanwhile, as part of the MDF's corporate social responsibility, a breast screening exercise has been organized for the public. Together with SACS Clinic, hundreds of people were screened. For Joy News, Nana Yaojima, Kumasi.
Education authorities in Nkwanta South are alarmed as dozens of students refuse placement in senior high schools over fears of ongoing conflict in the area. The Municipal Education Director says several schools have recorded drastic drops in registration despite available placements. There's more in the following report.
The Municipal Director of Education, Jonathan Kosina, says schools are witnessing sharp declines in enrollment. In Nkwanta South, SHS recorded just 24 students from 41 placements, whilst in Nkwanta Community Day, SHS saw
Now, Member of Parliament for Cape Coast South, George Kweku Ricketts Hagan, has pledged to expand access to quality education for underprivileged but talented students. During a school supplies presentation to first-year students, he said the initiative helps deserving students gain admission to top senior high schools and expressed optimism that the free SHS policy will be strengthened under the new administration.
The Member of Parliament for Cape Coast South, George Kweku Ricketts Hagan, has joined colleagues across the country in supporting newly placed first-year senior high school students with essential items to ease their transition into academic life. The MP presented more than 300 chop boxes, trunks, bags, mattresses and other basic supplies to beneficiaries from various communities within the Cape Coast South constituency. Speaking at the presentation ceremony, Mr. Ricketts Hagan said the gesture underscores his commitment to supporting underprivileged students and revealed plans to reintroduce his agenda aimed at increasing enrollment of students from the constituency into top-tier senior high schools.
I started this crusade 13 years ago, and that is what I made mention when I called all head teachers of secondary schools to tell them the importance of getting our kids into these schools and establishing some kind of an affirmative action to get our kids into these schools. We were making progress and we were getting some of our kids into these secondary schools until the free education started, when it became very difficult to get kids into these schools. Luckily, NDC government is in power again, and as the mayor mentioned, or as my colleague Raga mentioned, Honorable Dr. Mintayako mentioned, we are going to embark on that crusade again to make sure that we get a good chunk of our kids into some of these, what you call the A-list secondary schools that are littered in this part of the country.
The MCE of Cape Coast, George Justice Arthur, urged beneficiaries to take their education seriously to attain prominent levels in society.
In the past, for about 2 weeks ago, Honorable Dr. Kwame Mintanyako also did his, and the people in the Cape Coast North, that is his constituent, also benefited from that. Now I have hinted that Assembly is coming up with some laws such that children under 18 years who are seen to be walking around beyond 9 p.m. shall be arrested. And when we arrest them, we will let the parent come, leave the children, and detain the parent. So it's indeed a caution to the parent. Having done that is going to help us, promote our children and ensure their future becoming bright in the metropolis.
From Cape Coast, Abigail Lissel Nkrumah reports for Joy News.
Now, art is making a powerful comeback after years of neglect at Sogakope Senior High School. One teacher has revived the school's forgotten art club, inspiring students to turn color and imagination into hope. We've captured more in this report.
At Sogakope Senior High School, a once quiet school garden has been transformed into a studio without walls. Here, students gather after class to paint, sculpt, and create.
So we're here at Sogakope Senior High School, where we have said countless times that there are so many children or students who are gifted, talented, and they show it in diverse ways. We've seen pots, we've seen instruments, all made by these students here. And you can also see these paintings, they tell stories. You can see celebrities, people that inspire these children, and hopefully they get to meet that. But as Ghanaians have to pump most of our resources into them because they are the future. They are the future of creative art. They are creative and they're ready to change the world one stroke, one sketch, one paint, one sculpture at a time.
With limited space and few materials, they make the most of what they have, turning scarcity into beauty.
My name is Avagbeda Precious, and my friend drawing there's name is Dabijo Bismarck. What he's drawing, he started it a week ago. He has many other drawings, but this particular one, he loves it and he doesn't want anyone to destroy it. So I asked him why, and he told me he's from the Oti region. So where he's from is difficult for them to get food. But the person is drumming, Jom, is always happy. Even though he doesn't get food always, he's happy all the time. And that is why he loves this particular picture.
For them, every stroke tells a story about their community, dreams, and the world they hope to change.
I'm into fashion, home economics department. I do this with as a combination with my dress when it's time for catwalk. When I sew, I can do a bag, I can bead in it. With my slippers, it's not always that you have to wear heels for modeling. You can use your beadwork.
Right now, the garden is their creative home. But the dream is to have a proper art studio, a space where the ideas can grow freely.
One of our major challenges is a studio.
Okay.
We don't have a studio.
Yeah.
So when you go around the campus, this is the only place we find receptive. So we come here to do our work here. We don't have a studio, we need studios badly. And we don't have enough tools to work with. For example, these students are carving, but we don't have carving tools.
They need a place where they can leave their work safely, come back and continue. From the ashes of a forgotten club to a thriving creative family, the young artists of Sogakope Senior High School are painting hope, one brush stroke at a time.
Well, let's now do the business update by starting from what's happening on the currency market. Well, the Executive Secretary of the Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, Duncan Amwa, has assured the consumers that there will be no increase in transport fares anytime soon. His comments come in the wake of significant reductions in the prices of fuel at the pumps starting today.
Or some significant cuts in international market price rates. And so that could also give you some reduction. But overall, averagely, you should be doing about 2-3% across board for most of the pumps. Like I indicated, this comes at a good time such that whatever warning or signals that you picked with the transport operators who had given an indication that if we allowed fuel to go up again, they were simply going to be left with no choice but to increase transport fares. I think that this would let them stay their prices. This would stabilize the market for some time so as not to burden the Ghanaian commuter who also depend on their service. So it's good news for the transport operator, but it's even bigger news for the commuter or the person who depends on the public transport system, because this would mean that their transport fares could at least stay for a while without any upward adjustments.
Away from that, the Chief Executive of the Ghana Association of Banks, John Ewua, has called for the establishment of political risk insurance product and credit guarantees to enable banks lend to sustainable projects in the energy and extractive sectors. According to Mr. Ewua, lending to capital-intensive sustainable projects, especially in the energy and extractive sectors, are often deemed risky, emphasizing the need to establish de-risking policies and frameworks. John Ewua made these remarks at a forum organized by the International Finance Corporation on sustainable banking.
Access to sustainable finance is often constrained by high perceived risk and limited long-term funding sources. This is where these de-risking mechanisms become indispensable. We must actively explore and scale up tools such as, and here I'll just give us 4. Partial credit guarantee schemes to lower perceived risk for both banks and investing in sustainable extractive projects. Political risk insurance and first loss capital instruments to protect lenders and investors against regulatory, environmental, or operational uncertainties. Concessionary and blended finance facilities that combine grants or low-interest loans from development partners with commercial capital, improving the bankability of green extractive ventures. And the last one, ESG screening and monitoring toolkits tailored for the extractive sector, helping lenders identify sustainability risks early enough and monitor compliance over project life cycles. These de-risking instruments are essential if we are to bridge the financing gap between sustainability and implementation reality. In this regard, I wish to call on our international partners, and here I'm talking to IFC, AFDB, World Bank, GIZ, the Green Finance Fund, to continue championing Ghana's sustainable finance agenda.
Let's wrap the business update with what's happening on the commodities market. That's all in the AM news. Time for us to bring you to sports. And in sports, we bring you the exclusive interview of Black Stars head coach Otuado on the back of the World Cup qualification and plans for the tournament. He's been doing this with Achu Tamaklo.
To the Joy News channel, my name is Victor Achu Tamaklo. Today I have the privilege of having a conversation with a man I have chased since I was checking my notes before this interview with Henry Asantuchun for about 14 months now. But he's a busy man. He's the head coach of the Black Stars, and today, having secured World Cup qualification for Ghana, a 5th time in the history of this country, he finally is able to make time for us and have a conversation, just to look back on everything that has happened since the return as Black Stars coach. Hi, Otto.
Hello.
Thank you for agreeing to speak to us. You're a hard man to find, but understandably, you've been busy. Right, let's get into the conversation and start with the World Cup qualification. Is this the proudest moment in your life as a coach?
First World Cup was a little bit more massive because we had really a short time. Preparation time for my ideas of how we want to play to sink into for the players. The conditions were not good. We had to play against Nigeria, Nigeria was also, I mean, like the players were massive also those days. And actually nobody, I mean, except my close circle, my fan club, my family, and friends believed in me. And so this was even more than this, to be honest.
Mm. But you've done it regardless, except it has not been smooth sailing. If we look back to the period you took over, you had a brilliant start to the World Cup qualifiers. But then we saw what happened in the AFCON qualifiers, 6 games without a win. What would you say accounted for that period and the failure to qualify for the AFCON?
Yes, a lot of things which came together, a lot of discussion off the field, but also no unity. And then everything comes together. And I think we learned out of it. I think also as a nation we learned that continuity is very, very, very important, also for an FA, but also for clubs. We have to really, really look deep inside, and I'm very, very happy that President Kweku could make the decision to maintain me and to believe in me, to strengthen me. The management committee, the EXCO members, especially Nana Safo, they spoke out for me, and they had the belief we will turn things around, even though the AFCON was very, very bad. So I think a lot of people took a lot of learnings, and I personally was happy that they maintained, because I believe in myself, and I'm very happy that we could deliver.
Two things from the explanation that you just gave. The first one was about the fact that it was a learning process, and we all learned a lot from it. What was the biggest important lesson you picked from that period?
From that period, so I think the biggest learning was, to be honest, things off the pitch are sometimes even more important than on the pitch. Really? And if you can clarify a lot of things outside, it makes it much, much easier to go forward.
You also mentioned, and you thanked Keta Kweku for his faith to stick with him. In that post-event assessment, what did you say to the GFA and Keta Kweku that made them retain you?
Surely, so as a coach, you don't only look at the results. Yeah. Even like when we just won 5-0 against Central African Republic, everybody was saying, oh, perfect, this, that. But surely as a coach, you also look at things where you could have improved or which you could have done better. Even though you scored 5, you see situations where you could have scored even 2, 3, 4 goals more. So this is the job as a coach. And the same is the other way around. So surely it was a disaster. The results were not good, and it shouldn't happen. But at the other end also, we talked about, okay, we were fourth in creating chances from all the teams. So from 48 teams, we were just behind Morocco, Egypt in creating chances. Just like we didn't use our chances, and we were not crucial enough. A thing which we surely worked also on in the training.
All right. Now, so following from that, this small showing in the AFCON qualifiers, a number of things changed. The first thing was the backroom staff. We saw some additions to that. Talk us through the sort of value or improvements that these new additions obviously have brought to the team. One of the more noticeable changes is how the team is suddenly scoring goals from corner kicks. In the past, we used to be very susceptible to conceding from those situations. Now, I think that we have scored 8 in the last 7 from set pieces.
I think everybody's making a good job. Also, the assistant coaches, Desmond and Greg, and putting up really good set pieces. But it's also the deliver from the players, from Jordan Ayew, from Kudus. And then the runs inside. Our central defenders are doing a very, very good job, and also the blockers. So it's everyone, first of all. And surely, to be honest, we were also a little bit unlucky in the other, or before they came, with headers which were heading to the post or to the crossbar. And so, but now everything comes together. I think we are really, really balanced. We have the faith. We believe in us, and then things also make it happen. And if you have positive outcomes, you really believe in that, and then you're ready to do more and do it again and again.
So clearly, you have shown that with more support, you can get more out of this current Black Stars team. There's been questions whether or not we can enhance the capacity of the backroom staff. For example, I don't understand how whenever we follow the Black Stars and for their recovery sessions, there are only about 2 or 3 physios who have to attend to 24, 25 players at that time. We're going to the World Cup. Is it your expectation that that kind of help, even if not in the way of physios, but some other technical supports that you need, that will make your work, that will lessen the burden on you?
So let's say like this. Surely, like at the last World Cup, we did the same. We discussed about all these things, and because we having a lot of games shortly after another. Now also in America with the distances between the cities, it will be even more difficult. So we will have this discussion, and it would be, I think, unfair for me to talk about it now. And we will have the discussion like we did in 2022. And surely, I think we will find very, very good solution for that.
One of the changes that you made after the AFCON qualifiers was the captaincy. Jordan Ayew became the captain. And since then, we have seen his best performing period in the national team. I think he's at overall around 20 goal contributions since he became Black Stars coach. In the World Cup qualifiers, he's produced 14 in 10 games alone. That is remarkable. What has changed about Jordan Ayew's game?
Actually, I can't really talk about it because I don't know how it was before. So since the day was good, I predominantly seen as a number 9. And I know that he's been playing also at the wing before. So it depends also on the opponent. But I think for me, he's a great leader. He has done really, really well. The most important thing is that we got clarity in the team, unity in the team, and this is what he's doing, and he's doing a good job with that. And like I said, it's not only about him; it's also the guys who are giving him the chance to score, but also scoring on his good assists, on his good crosses, good corners. So it's a teamwork at the end, and I think I'm a strong believer that if the team shines, each and every one will shine as well.
Now, one other player who was a beneficiary of the changes you made was a very popular figure, Benjamin Asare. We know that he was in the national pool because I think you listed him in the provisional 48-man squad for the 2022 World Cup. Mm-hmm. And when you returned, you invited him for the World Cup qualifiers. Straight away, he became number 1. How did that happen?
He trained well. We had an extremely good week. We just had 3 days, and he was so good that I said, okay, for me, this is enough to give him a chance. And these kind of decisions are always on the edge because there are other goalkeepers who are also doing well and who also did well in the club side. And then sometimes it's just little margins, and we gave him a chance. And I think he proved that he's the number 1, and he proved it, and I'm very, very happy for him.
There's been some strange criticisms of his performance. There are those who say, he doesn't pass the ball well enough, and he doesn't look very confident at the back as a goalkeeper. Should we not be focusing on his shot-stopping abilities and the fact that, as has become very evident, clean sheets follows wherever he goes?
Yeah, it's normal that players will be criticized the same as I. Yeah. But I think we should really make it a sense, there should be something at least. And I don't think we conceded too many goals against us in the last games. And for me, to be honest, I don't understand this discussion, especially if the team did well and we qualified. And I think it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the progress of the team going forward. It looked awkward, but after you secured qualification, the sports minister has been saying quite a bit about you. He called you lucky, even though there are those who have argued that the numbers do not correspond with what he has said. These public criticisms, does he share them with you privately, the sports minister?
So, for me, I'm far away to speak about somebody from our organization in public. If there's anything I want to tell him, then I will tell him privately because I have his number, he has my number. And this is how I keep it.
Right. Okay. Now, let's move the conversation on to the team itself and the possibility of what the team would look like at the World Cup. In the past 48 hours, there's been discussions about the possibility or the availability of 2 players who have the opportunity to represent this country, but chose other options. Eddie Nketiah, Callum Hudson-Odoi. Is there a chance that they represent Ghana at the World Cup?
So, you know, I don't also like to talk about players who are not in, or who were not in the squad, especially. One thing is very, very clear: we will look at any option if it could be a good addition, but we look at every case singularly. So, if this player a committed player, if he's performing well, is he better than what we have at the moment? Yeah. So these are the questions we have to ask, and after that we decide. But I won't go particularly into this or that player.
Does it matter, without mentioning or considering the specific players, does it matter in this analysis or in these decisions that you will make that someone had the opportunity to play for us, maybe especially for players who the FA may have contacted in the past and they said no, but now for whatever reason they want to play? Will that factor play on your mind and the FA?
On my mind, 100%, and I will decide it. So it's very important that he's committed. If we have contacted the player before and was not willing to play for us at the AFCON qualifiers or at previous tournaments or whatsoever, and now saying he's committed, even though maybe we called him and texted him, and it's going to be difficult, to be honest, because I think we as Ghanaians also have a pride for our country, and the same as if a player doesn't reply for the call-ups, it's not about the player who decide whenever he wants to come. Yeah. It should be on the FA and on the national teams to decide when we need you, that you are there.
Now let's talk about the World Cup itself. I had a conversation with Kwesi Sibo, and he indicated that from everything he had experienced under you and the unity that he had seen in the brief period that he had been in camp, he's confident that the team can win the World Cup. What is the potential in this Black Stars team?
So first, I like the positivity that especially also him is showing. It's so good, positive thinking, to believe in our strengths. But surely me, I have to be realistic, and we have to take things step by step. And the number one aim, which is very, very important for us, to survive the group stage. Once we enter into the knockout stage, I know that also everything can happen.
So what is the objective that you personally have set for yourself, that this is the mark I want to attain at the World Cup?
We want to go to the knockout stages, and then from there, like I said, for me, anything can happen. I can't say it's going to be a final, I can't say it's the quarter or semi or whatever, but we have to look individually because we don't know who we're facing. So it's difficult to say we will get here or there. You know, it depends also on our group, how strong is the group, and so on. Because at the moment, Ghana is not really ranked high. It's going to be difficult, but like I said, if we survive this group stage, from there, anything can happen.
On that note, on the issue of the friendly matches, because between now and June next year, we're not playing any competitive game. Just how important is it that we get high-profile games that will take you close to the level of a competitive game for the team to be in optimal shape for the World Cup?
Yeah, it's very, very important. I think for the team to face other countries, other continents, to get the experience to play against them under the different conditions. It will shape our team, and then it will give me also answers about who can go this level and who not.
There has been question marks about whether or not the Otto we saw in the AFCON qualifiers might come back, or this new Otto who has led through the World Cup qualifiers is the man to take us to the World Cup. When you hear those questions, how does that make you feel? And what is your response to those critics?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always the same, and I've been always the same. I know what football is all about. We had a season in Dortmund where we were like fifth but last, going down, and then with the same squad the next year we won the championship. So I know how football and how also the mental stress can affect players and all these things. So for me, it's very important that we unite with the media, with the people of Ghana, with everyone, and everybody stands behind us, and I'm very, very sure we'll deliver them.
So you're the best man to take us to the World Cup.
This one, I would like others to talk. I don't like to talk about myself that I'm the best man. This is.
You let others decide.
Yeah.
All right. Otto, congratulations again for qualifying Ghana to the World Cup, and thank you for agreeing to speak to us. Hopefully, we meet in the US with very positive results that we get at the World Cup. Right. So that was the Black Stars of Ghana head coach Otto Addo speaking to Joy Sports. My name is Victor Achutamaklu. Thank you for watching.
Well, hello, and good morning. You're watching the AM show. Thank you for choosing us. We made it till Friday. I'm excited. Well, the AM show is sponsored by Kenega Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Shortly, I will be telling you about Syntex Tank. Well, Ghana, let's talk water tanks. Do you know the secret to real water storage? It's simple. If your tank doesn't have the tortoise on it, then it's not the correct tank. That's right. The tortoise tank, Syntex Tank, is the champion of water tanks. It is strong and durable and built to handle our Ghanaian weather. Rain or shine, Syntex Tank has your back. So, my people, go outside, check your tank, and if it doesn't have a tortoise on it, it's time to upgrade. Join the Syntex Tank family today and enjoy water storage that's tough like a tortoise. Go on and call them 0244-335-168 to buy now, or find one of their 400 agents nationwide. You can as well shop online. SyntexGH.com. Syntex Tank, A is strong, A is tough. Time now to review the news, and we're joined in studio by Kwame Nkrumah Botio. It's been a while that I engaged him, General Secretary of the CPP, and a little later we shall be joined by Ebenezer Edu, MCE Ahanta West Kojo. Are you excited? It's Friday, Kojo?
Yeah.
I know.
Tomorrow we got to sleep more and wake up.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You'll sleep tomorrow. Are you certain?
Yeah, asking us though. You want to tell people that I have something else?
Of course you do.
But tomorrow, you'll be sleeping very
I will not be sleeping. I am on a schedule to work tomorrow.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Or weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Well, Com is here. Are you excited this Friday? Have you been? It's been a minute.
Yes.
On the show with you and I. I hope you're well.
Yeah.
There's no court on Saturday, so it's fine for him.
At least he will rest tomorrow.
The legal year has started. So
okay.
I'm excited it's Friday. During the legal vacation, it didn't make much of a difference.
Okay.
We started in full swing. It's beginning of October. I'm very happy that I get to rest a bit today.
We're glad that you made it to the studio this morning. What in the news has your attention? I'm particularly excited about the UP, the United Party that the Movement for Change have metamorphosed into.
Yes.
Especially because it was some sort of, if it's the same ideology, then it was the opposition party that opposed the CPP so many years ago.
You know, it's interesting.
Yeah.
But the UP actually came out of the CPP.
Look at that.
A lot of people think the UP came out of the UGCC.
Oh.
You know, in I think it was in October or November 1957, when Osajifo came up with the Avoidance of Discrimination Act. You know, Osajifo was always about Ghanaians being united and not being divided on tribal, ethnic, or religious lines. So the Avoidance of Discrimination Act meant that there were a lot of political parties then that were formed on tribal and religious lines. And 7 of them then came together to form the United Party because they realized that their existence was at risk. And the leader of the UP then, he was a member of the CPP. And he was instructed, history shows that the Asantehene then instructed them to form the UP. So the UP actually came out of the CPP. And, you know, the CPP has always been a party that encourages democracy. as long as it's not based on ethnic or religious lines. And even Osagyefo's move at that time was to make sure that there's a level playing field for everybody, irrespective of your educational background. And to have more political actors on the scene, it's something that we in the CPP encourage, because every Ghanaian has the right to have their voice heard on the political scene. All those who qualify should be allowed to start their own political parties, even though we in the CPP feel that we are still the best party, and we would want everyone to be behind us. Of course, the CPP was invited. I was at the event.
Okay.
It went quite well. And my own co-panelist, Apia Dankwa,
yes,
is now the Director of Legal of the United Party.
Okay, okay.
So, but top of my mind has to do with education.
Okay.
I heard a statement by the Honorable Minister of Education, which made me very happy, about how they were able to place 25,000 students in the private schools, and how they are going to give them a stipend of, I think it's 240 Ghana cedis, because it ties in with the CPP's emphasis on education. Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah once said that the measure of the progress of a country is the number of children in its schools and the quality of its education. And I see the current Honorable Minister trying to maintain that delicate balance of making sure that as many or all children are in school, and at the same time to supporting the private schools financially so that there will be quality education. Because if you have private secondary schools and they are not regulated, they are not supported financially, then the products they'll be churning out would not be fit for purpose. So
right.
It's a very good move that we are happy about.
Okay. Kojo, shall we now just let people know what's happening in front of the newspapers? I've got the Daily Gist with me here, and I've also got the Insights with me. Which one do you have?
Okay, I have the Daily Guide newspaper and the Ghanaian Publisher.
Okay, that's the News Center and then the Custodian as well with you, Kwame. So for the Daily Gist this morning, Alan unveils United Party, which we have just started talking about, and then NPP aspirant in dogfight. The full story is on page 3 of the Daily Gist this morning, and OSP sued over extortion. The story is on page 2. Interesting. I'll just give you a bit of that. The Office of the Special Prosecutor has been dragged to court by one of its alleged victims, Jacob Kwamena Amwa, who claims he was unlawfully detained, extorted, and subjected to psychological trauma by operatives of the state in a coordinated scheme involving lawyers and national security officers. Amwa, a former coordinator of the United Petroleum Pricing Fund, UPPF, at the National Petroleum Authority, NPA, has filed a motion at the Human Rights Division of the High Court in Accra, accusing the OSP and the other state institutions of breaching his fundamental human rights. I think he's part of the people the OSP is already investigating in the NPA scandal. That'll be an interesting one. Yeah. We'll see how that would also pan out. But because I have flipped the page in the Daily Gist, maybe you would have that in the Daily Guide. But the AG drops charges against key suspects in the 49 million National Service, the National Signals Bureau scandal. National Signals Bureau. That will be, if you remember Mildred Donko, when I read the
former banker who ended up working for one of their companies.
Yes. You recall she was one that fired her lawyer in court, Atacha?
Yes.
Yeah, and the story is unfolded quite interesting.
And they've dropped the charges against her.
No. So she has decided to want to help the prosecution, the state, and so testify against.
Drop the charges. Yes. Okay, let's see how it goes. But Alan Cash forms United Party. Yesterday I spoke to them about they say they want to break the duopoly of the NDC and NPP. And I was asking that, I mean, is that based on fact, on statistics and history, or just saying? They said, well, they are serious about it, but I mean, MFA, in the 2024 election in which they were not even the third. So how do you break the duopoly realistically? And as Asante said this, you didn't have even up to 5%. You need 50%. How can you break that in 2028 if you have to break the duopoly?
They put the timeline of 2028. Why did you? What?
No, I was asking them a question.
Right.
But if you put aside 2028, 2032, can they really break it? 2040, 2030.
The breaking, I'm not sure, Kwame, I don't know how you feel.
I was there.
You were there, right?
You know what I gathered, you know, what Honorable Alan Trumantin said was their intention is to make Ghana a paradise by 2040. So that means that they know the hurdle they need to surmount. That is why they seem to be giving themselves up to 2040. And of course, it is true that they did not perform that well, even though they did better than the CPP. At least in some of the regions, I think it was Upper West, OT, and Volta, if my memory serves me right. CPP came third in those regions. That means CPP had more votes than Movement for Change and also my brother Bediako's party. Exactly. So that means that there are still various strong actors they have to contend with, including Bediako and the CPP, because those three parties came immediately after NPP. But what may go in the favor of the Movement for Change is that they are now a political party. But they are now a political party, not just a movement with a flag bearer. They can now field parliamentary candidates. And yesterday they introduced their regional chairman. And I think that NPP should be shaking in their boots because a lot of their regional chairmen, including their central regional chairman, is former NPP central regional chairman.
Okay. I think this also answers one of the questions we'll be asking when it comes to political parties: is it the party or the person? You know,
it's
who first? Which one comes first? Okay.
It's because you can have a very good candidate, but if you're not well organized, you will not make an impact. I think it's about the party. The party has to be very well organized from the grassroots up in order for you to think about being anywhere. The grassroots are the most important part of the party and the internal democracy. When you have too much infighting in the party, everybody taking decisions in order to emerge as a flag bearer or as a national executive, the party will not get anywhere. But if you have a party that feels, let's all unite at the base, whoever emerges at the top will push.
But we've seen both the NDC and the NPP go through very thunderous primaries, both for the national executive and the flag bearership. But these two parties are always able to sort of rally their people and you know, whip them in line for any election. Dr. Papa Kwesi Nkrumah's Progressive People's Party, when that party went out of the CPP, everybody, or most people thought that this could possibly become the third force.
That's true.
They did in the next election, but subsequently we've all seen what has happened. So really, well, let's say they say
that's a good point because PPP is one of those parties.
Yeah, it was tipped to bring the duopoly because that time Papa Kwesi Nkrumah was coming out of government and had performed creditably well during his time in government.
During his time in the CPP, because in 2008 I was actually part of his campaign team, and we did very well. CPP did very well
because he was coming out of a government.
And it was because of the party. I think he performed well in 2008 because of the vehicle of the CPP. You understand me? The CPP still has a lot of goodwill. So he coming on the vehicle of the PPP. I think people weighed the two. A lot of people feel
even the election after the formation of that party. And we are still talking about this story in the Delhi Guide anyway.
Right.
I mean, when he formed the PPP outside of the CPP, they came third in that election, the subsequent election.
I think.
Yeah, he came.
I think the saving was a lot because then you were with the ruling party.
Yeah.
Then CPP. Then you wanted to actually also form the PPP.
No, but actually, he was not an NPP member.
No, he wasn't. You were with the government. You were appointed.
You remember Kufuor during his time?
Positive, inclusive.
Exactly. So he appointed one PNC member.
Yes.
Alhaji something sports, youth and sports also.
Yes.
There was a scandal.
Then
he appointed Dr. Indum from the CPP.
Yes.
I think from the same alliance. You remember the big alliance in 1996?
Yes.
So from that alliance, which they didn't even failed people in Commander, and failed in Elembele as well.
Yes.
So he was drafted into it, as well as even Blake.
And he even brought on board some independents, Alhaji Boniface Sadiq, who's now the interim chairman of the United Party.
Yeah, exactly. So from there, he was part of the executives, and then in 2008, he became the flag bearer of the CPP.
Yeah.
Then after that election, he decided, no, I'll form the Progressive People's Party. I think there was an issue between he and either Samia Nkrumah or so that led to the formation. And people thought that, well, PPP could become the third force. They showed some signals, but eventually we've all seen it.
I did not see how Papa Kwesi was going to recruit people, though he was appointed when he wasn't a member of the NPP.
Yeah.
I did not see how members of people were going to come along with him to go to the CPP and even transition to PPP. Why? Because when you work for a particular government, despite you not being a member of that party, the credit inconspicuously goes to that party. We do not remember you for, oh, well, he was a CPP member, but he did well when he was appointed under the NPP regime. So the transitioning, you leave a lot behind.
Oh, but during his time there, people credited him for public sector. You remember the public sector reforms?
It will be him. It will be him.
People credited him.
It will be him,
Exactly.
but it definitely will be in the books of the NPP.
Pull some people from the CPP. I remember in Ahanta West, where our the next guest, engineer, Ebenezer Kofi Edu is coming from. The CPP parliamentary candidate for the 2008 election, Dr. David Oscar Yawson, he surprised a lot of people by the number of votes he got. Then in 2012, when Indum left the CPP to form PPP, he pulled him along.
True.
Just as other parliamentary candidates of the CPP in the Western region. And that time, you saw a lot of movement from the CPP to the PP. And they came third, actually. In that subsequent election in 2012, I think, it was NDC, MPP,
PPP. I remember, it was a very heartbreaking period for me, because a lot of my mates from University of Ghana who had brought into the CPP, I mean, they abandoned the CPP and joined him. And these were people who were very instrumental, because as at the time, we were on the campaign trail. CPP had branches in only about 3 of the tertiary institutions. But he was able to resource us quite well, and I and my colleagues from the University of Ghana, we moved throughout the country, and we opened branches of the CPP. At that time, there were about 34 tertiary institutions. That's private and the polytechnics and all that. So we jumped from 3 to 34. We were able to do quite well. And when he left, they all followed him. It was quite
we hope that the United Party will probably learn from the shortfalls of the PPP and probably become the...
Why not the CPP?
Okay, no, you know the CPP.
Well, he knows the CPP is a strong party.
No, the CPP is also not a breakaway party.
Okay.
The reason I use the PPP is the PPP broke away from the CPP. UP has broken away from the MPP.
From the MPP.
Exactly. That's
the original UP also broke away from the CPP.
Okay. That's why I chose that.
But I think it was Bafo Akoto who was instructed by His Majesty, His Royal Majesty, the Asante then, to form the UP after the Avoidance of Discrimination Act was passed in about November 1957.
Anyway, so CPP is not worried about UP. They feel that they will become...
UP is, you know, CPP is a party that speaks of Ghana first.
Yeah.
Ghana first. No matter the political terrain, we always look at which individual or which political party will carry out the agenda of uniting Ghanaians. Because our founder, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, was all about unity and progress. Even the formation of the UP, it was because of a declaration he made, Avoidance of Discrimination Act. No political parties based on tribal, ethnic, or religious lines. So we would rather want to be in power, but we are not threatened by any party. We look at the terrain and we make sure that everybody is doing things in the interest of Ghanaians. We don't do petty politics. We don't do propaganda in order to pull anybody down. We do constructive criticism. And we know that eventually Ghanaians will vote us in come 2028. Things may be looking difficult, but we are on our way to victory. And even yesterday, there was a very good point made at the launch.
Let's get critical here.
Okay.
Once you say you will come to power in 2028.
Yes.
In the 2024 election, what was your...
But in a minute, let me just introduce Ebenezer Adu. He is MC in Ahanto West. I'm certain that a lot of people are watching. They're like, but there's a gentleman sitting right there. Well, thank you for joining us in studio.
Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Now, if I can...
Coach, I'll give you 30 seconds to raise the point you want to do.
If I can do a recollection the way I have done, then Ebenezer Adu can do better than I have.
So I should leave it to him to do.
No, but let me stick with CPP for a while.
Yes.
Okay.
Because you see, yesterday, Dr. Asante made a point that before you cross the 50, because to win, you need 50 plus 1, right?
Yeah.
The CPP had less than 3%.
Yes, we didn't do well. We know,
So
we are not proud of it. But let me say something. Let me say something. In 2024, we had a paltry sum of 24,000, which I'm sure is even less than the population of the University of Ghana. It's not something we are proud of. But in 2020, we had 12,000, which means that we doubled.
12,000 out of...
It's very small. It's very small. But then...
Yeah, that's
not
the
even my
point.
But
then, if you look at it critically, we did double our numbers. Whereas the two major parties, I think NDC increased their numbers by only about 1.something%. And NPP decreased their numbers by about 17% or thereabouts.
That's acceptable. But you even said you doubled. If you double again in 2020, you still don't win.
No, we are not going to double. We are not. Just let you know that we had an increment of 100% on our previous numbers. That means that now that we are reorganizing the base, in the next election, we are going to perform as we did during the time of, is it the PNP, where we elected His Excellency President Liman less than 3 months to the election. And we were able to win the election. But unfortunately, due to the 31st December coup, we once again were disadvantaged. The same with the 1966 coup. Don't forget that any time the CPP is in power, the CPP has never been removed through an election. There's always been a military upheaval. But now that we know that the Ghanaian democracy has matured, there will be no more coup d'etats. Since 1992, the Fourth Republic has been relatively peaceful, and we are getting our house in order.
All right. We've always been telling them to join us.
That's CPP, eh?
Yes.
Why?
Because we have the same ideology, basically the same. Our party is probity, unity, and accountability. So it's Ghana first for we in NDC. So, look, I think that your base is not working. Your party itself is in divided front. Come and join us. Let's fight the agenda together and make
What
sure.
What an invitation on live TV. The General Secretary. Have you nested that idea before as a party? Have you nested it at all?
We haven't. We are a party that is prepared to unite to move the country forward. We have had collaborations with the NDC in the past. During the time of President Rawlings, the Nkrumah's parties came together and fielded His Excellency Dr. K. Naka to partner with His Excellency President Rawlings. So it's not something that is new to us. We look at the terrain, it will benefit, if it will benefit Ghanaians, yes. And then even during President Kufuor's era, we did the same with the NPP. So we always observe
You call it a big alliance, eh?
Yeah, they called it the big alliance. But the point here is, look, see,
so we are not averse to collaboration once it benefits Ghanaians.
We are social democrats. You are socialists. We have the same ideology, the same footprint. You can see that even founding fathers of our party, some of them were CPP. So once we have the same ideology, and then looking at your point that you made, you had 12,000 out of over 8 million plus voters.
That's in 2020.
In 2020. 2024, you didn't even show up at all. You know it. So they did, but I'm talking about, so if you doubled it. In my constituency alone, my parliamentary candidate had over 36,000. President John Mahama had almost the same figure. So your numbers for the whole country is not even to one particular constituency.
And it's not something we are proud of. But don't forget that we have always been violently removed.
And then the point here is that parties are built on the base. The two political parties now have solid base. If you don't build your branches, some people call it polling station, then you cannot make impact. I think that CPP over the years should have concentrated on maybe getting parliamentary candidates first. I mean, they used to have, and then build on that.
But even that's hard, isn't it?
It's very, very
That's hard because
very,
for a parliamentary candidate, you're as good as your party.
Exactly. So
people actually will vote for a parliamentary candidate because of the party.
So for some of us, our thinking is this. And look, I'm being frank on TV. I met a couple of your big wings, and I told them that, see, we have, just like I'm telling you, we have similar traits, same ideologies, same front. So why not CP? Because we all believe, I'm an Nkrumahist. And my grandfather was part of the Nkrumah bodyguard, kind of. You understand?
Mine was an ambassador.
Exactly. So,
during Nkrumah's time.
So if we have this trait, and then we are all Nkrumah's party, we believe in the ideology, and now there's a new National Democratic Congress, the best party in Ghana. Just join us.
Would you extend the same invitation to the newly formed United Party?
United Party.
For UP, I wish that they can be on so that...
but UP and you would have, opposing
I mean, we are in a democracy.
Okay.
And it's a new party.
Yeah.
But they are saying that their root is from the same UP tradition, that's the NPP.
Yeah.
And then they can be there and do their own thing so that we can join force and rule this country for better things to happen.
But do you think the UP will survive?
It depends.
Okay.
Parties have come and gone. You're speaking about PPP, the NLP.
And then the National Reform Party.
Yeah. So it depends. But
Reform was NDC.
Yes.
Right?
But one thing about forming your own party that people sometimes in our context, like, parties are built on the base. The NDC is strong today because we have a solid base, we have a solid polling station, we have solid executives, and then if you look at the way we even won the campaign, the election in 2024, you can see, for instance, from Ahanta West, was part of the National Youth Wing. So we were touring for the first time. We had a youth campaign that was led by our Minister George Opariado. And then we toured every constituency. The Women's Wing did the same thing. The National Chairman did the same thing. And then the Flagbearer himself also was. So that is how we win. And then coupled with that, we had a strategy. So you don't just form a party and you think that, I formed the party and at the end of the day, I will make impact. Indum tried, his personality helped him, but then because it was built on one centered person, PPP was about Indum. And once Indum was down there, the party didn't survive. So it depends that if they want to build a base, and that's what they have to do. If we go by the law, some of these small parties, I don't think will even be in existence because per the law, we need to have offices and all those
two-thirds of the country.
How many of these political parties even have? I wish them well. We want to rule Ghana and make sure that people are happy, and then we build a very solid nation. And I think that for us, our concentration is building our party, because once we build a party, we build the nation as well, because it's the party that rules. So for us, that's what. We wish them well.
And he's 100% right about having a strong base. And the two big parties, they learned that model from the CPP. Because the CPP, we even had the Veranda Boys and Girls, the Youth Brigade. The CPP was rock solid on the ground. But as I said, with all these coups and the CPP being banned all the way from 1966 to 1998, we've had a lot of unfairness thrust at the party. But
Another story from the delegate that is worth of mentioning is Gold Board. Exports peak to $8 billion. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
It says the Ghana small-scale gold export sector has generated over $8 billion this year, a significant increase in revenue generated by the sector in previous years. This impressive performance is fueled by various reforms in Ghana's gold sector, which, with the introduction of the Gold Board, playing a key role. When it talks about Gold Board's impact, which it says Gold Board, which was established in 2025 to regulate and streamline small-scale gold export, has been credited with restoring confidence in the sector. The board, working with PMMC, has introduced strict compliance measures and to ensure that all gold exported passes through official channels. And that's why we are tracking to this $8 billion. Yeah, lawyer. This obviously, let me start with MC. This obviously is good news. Because your government came in to say that we think gold can be a way to build this economy. $8 billion is not easy.
I'm excited for Sammy.
Yeah.
When he was appointed, people thought that he was young and what can he do? And look at the magic he's performing for the whole country. If we didn't form the Gold Board, then it means that these $8 billion would have been in individual hands. I'm a mine engineer. I understand the concept of the gold trade, and I understand how multinationals even make a lot of money from us. And for Gold Board to come in, put in measures within a space of 9 months, I would not even say 9 months, because look at the time that he was appointed, they have to be reformed, they have to be laws, pass laws to make sure that we have the Gold Board. And for $8 billion, no wonder do you know the exchange rate today? It's about 10 point something, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Wow.
I think it was 911, huh?
Yeah, check.
Was that?
It's about 10.9 or roughly, let's say, even if it's 11, look at where we are, where we were.
Yeah, you're right.
10.68.
10.68.
Oh, you had it, eh?
Yeah, 10.68.
Which is
so
interesting.
It means that as a government, we are doing something good. And then I will encourage Sammy and his team to keep up the good work and make sure that no foreigner takes our gold out to sell. In those days, you have Indians, Lebanese, Chinese, and the sad thing is that they take this gold in the raw form, package them, and then just ship them out. And then for us to have a Gold Board to make sure that we regularize that space to make such an amount of money to support our economy. I think that Sammy and his team are doing something good, and then they need to be encouraged to do more.
But how should that also reflect on the small-scale mining sector itself? Because a lot of people ask questions about all of these gold coming from the legal small-scale mining sector. How do we really go about it?
So once again, I think that based on where I am as a municipal chief executive and then my profession as a mining engineer, often than not, people talk about galamsey. The law says that as a Ghanaian, I can do small-scale mining.
Yes.
And small-scale mining is legal.
Yeah.
There are a number of them there who are doing proper small-scale mining. A number of them. I don't rule the fact that there are others who are also doing an illegal mining that we all call galamsey. That is why now we've come up with a cooperative mining idea, making sure that we regularize the space for people to do responsible mining. And I think that if cooperative mining comes to stay and then the measures are followed, we are even going to get more than this, because at the moment, certain people do things in their own way. With the cooperative mining, we are going to streamline the space. And then the method of recovery is going to be more, because as I'm talking to you now, galamseyers do not even recover 30% of whatever they get from the soil. Okay? They normally recover because of the method that they use. Some of them using lead for agglomeration, some of them use mercury. And then, so with the cooperative mining, we are going to have a mini plant at the various municipals, come up with a proper I don't want to use chemicalization. Proper methodological processes to make sure that you can get a good recovery rate. So once you get good recovery rate, it means that at a point, if you, let's say, you take a gram, or your gram now is going to be 2 or 3 because you are using proper procedures. And I think that that is the area that this government now is focusing its attention to make sure that, apart from making sure that we get good recoveries and then make money, we can also mine sustainably. We use the best mining practices. We reclaim the land to protect the environment and protect, with health and safety, also protect the individual. Because you cannot go, every day when I meet these young small-scale miners in Galamsey, I tell them that apart from you getting the money, you'll be there and then you see that somebody just 24 years. By the time you realize he's gone. Why? Because over the past decade, they have been using lead, the smoke has been going in, and then by the time you realize the person has a terminal disease and then he's gone.
Yeah.
So with this cooperative mining, with the proper measures that we are going to put in place, I think that is going to help so that at least for health and safety too. Because you cannot go to the bigger mine where I used to work in the gold fields and then later engineers and planners. There were regulators who were coming to the mine almost every 3 months to come and check, even we who were doing proper large-scale mining, how much more the Galamsey. So I think that the Honorable Amabua and his team, Pedro, are putting out measures to make sure that at least we mine and mine responsibly. And that one is going to have a big impact on the recoveries for us to even make more for gold.
More from gold, okay. All right. Lawyer, so, I mean, we're getting much more. Should the gold board be looking at how we can even invest? He said it. They're going to buy a lot of these mini plantains to help. Should gold board also focus on how we can even establish more Ghanaians to be big players in the small scale sector, so it increases our, the good earnings in the sector?
I think the cooperative method they are using is good.
So deliberate policies.
Yeah. So it's good to help them, regulate them, and then if more Ghanaians want to get into it, I think it's a good idea. But personally, I don't think there should really be a concerted effort in getting more people into mining per se. Gold is only one of the resources we have. And the Convention People's Party, we feel that all our resources are valuable. Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah famously said that Ghana is not a poor country. We have gold, we have diamond, we have all these things. But it's because of the new colonialist factors which have suppressed us. We seem to have taken control of our gold sector. Let's take control of our agric sector. Let's take control of our oil sector, diamond sector, bauxite sector. We have a lot of other minerals that we can exploit. So those who are already there, have them supported. Those who want to get into it, have them supported. But I don't really think there should be a campaign to get people into it necessarily. People are already in other sectors who need assistance. The Ministry of Agric is doing very well. Honorable Minister and his deputy, John Dumelo, they can throw their tentacles wider, even engage farmers in everywhere, irrespective of political party or whatever it is. Let's strengthen all the sectors. Gold is doing very well. Last week on the show, I think I mentioned that gold's at an all-time high, $4,000.
$4,000 plus now.
I think it's $4,000.
Yeah, it's $4,000, yes.
Great. So it's working very well for us.
So it means that people will go in because once the gold price goes up, it means that the more money these miners will get. I think that I agree with you that we should look at other sectors. But if you look at the data and you see young people now who are into gold mine, or mining per se. And what we mine more in Ghana is gold. That is why I commend the minister and then the president for making sure that going forward, we just don't mine anyhow. And that we put in the right policies for these young people to mine. My concern now is, and I shared it with the minister, is that we need to make sure that these are the ways we mine, because they are mining practices. And these Chinese showed us with the chamfa machine that they call one leg and all those things. I think that going forward, those things should be banned.
Yeah.
Once those chamfans are banned, then the proper mining practices that we want to introduce will work for us. And I think that is something that they are working on it. Because if we don't do that, some people will mine responsibly, and then you still find a few making sure that they use, and these one legs are the ones that they use to distract the environment.
The rivers,
then the dredging.
One leg is a machine.
One leg, yeah.
That's
one leg
is a way
it's the way they do it, and if you see the picture of a one leg machine and the way they even set up, because they will have let's see if where your camera is where the one leg machine is, and then they will have a table. A slope table, so they will pump the water from that space on the table, and as they pump, the sand gets under the sluice board, and then it will be washing.
Yeah, and the board has something like a carpet.
A carpet
that can trap the metals.
Thank you. So once that is done, then on that same carpet, they will collect everything, put it in the bowl, and start using the mercury and lead for the agglomeration that
holding the bowl like this.
Yeah. So once they are doing that, these chemicals and everything is transferring back to
the water.
Yes. And that is the method that we are banding and making sure. So we want to make sure
mentioned one of the measures that this government is using to at least make sure that we're mining responsibly and sustainably, the responsible cooperative mining skill development.
Right.
Now, when I engaged
Judge Dazi,
one of the things he said that they have to set up, they're still in the formative stage.
Right.
They have to actually set up district offices, set up regional offices.
Right.
And in that district offices, there'll be a committee that oversees the 5% of the funds that are coming. Another committee will be set up to oversee another 5% of the resources that are coming for land reclamation and all of that. And they looked all very cloudy in my mind, because then it looks to me as though it just might be ending like the previous initiative of the previous government, which the current government says that it was not done well. What are the measures really this government is putting in place to ensure that, should there be a change in government? Because of course, change is bound to happen. If there's a change, these measures that you're putting in place, the sustainability of it, so that it doesn't end up like the NALEP, then the community mining as well.
So these things have gone through their laws already. It has been passed by an act of parliament, isn't it? So at the end of the day, government is continuous. We came to meet certain policies that were there, and then I don't think that we will just say that because we have our manifesto and everything, we are just scrapping them off. That's why the president even said that contractors who were building roads, major roads, even continued. And I had one in my municipality. Jasmine was building from Takrade to Agunan Kwanta, and then he was given the opportunity to still continue. So once the policy is there and it's working, and it's making, my point here is that we have to make sure that everything that we do now is for sustainability. And we have to be deliberate, and that is what the minister is doing. Because if we don't protect the environment now, looking at the devastation that is happening now, then there wouldn't be Ghana for us again. Because our survival is on the environment. So if we say that because cooperative mining or community mining didn't work, and as a result, the reason why the minister is bringing everything to the base is that if the base is right, and I keep on saying that if you build from the base, you have a solid foundation. Mining is done at the various local levels. So somebody cannot sit in Accra and do laws and bring it down there. That is why now the MCs, and then as George said, very soon, it has been launched, but we are in the formative stage. Before the license even get to Accra, it means that every paperwork is done well there. Before the minister can even give you the lease for you to mine. So I think that for where we are going, we only have to be deliberate. We only have to make sure that we practice what is in the books or what is in the laws. And once we do that, successive government will be happy with what the Gold Board is doing, what the cooperative mining is doing. And then we put, and as I said, because it's my profession as a mining engineer, I understand it from a point of view that I have done mining over the past 15 years in the mine. Nothing happened to me. And I'm now in politics. So why is it that these galamseyers, within a space of time, they will just pass on? It is because something is not done right. And it is not them alone. Apart from protecting them, we have to protect the environment to make sure that Ghana works. And I think that is something that we all have to focus. When it comes to galamsey, I don't say that it is NPP or NDC. It's Ghana. It's collective. And we all have to make sure that it works.
Okay. You're okay.
Leave me alone,
Okay, so
leave me alone.
our guys have been able to pull the one leg style for you. I think, Honorable, this is
this is the board.
So that's and the board has
this is the board.
So the first
the machine is also, if your producer can do a chamfer machine or a one leg machine,
is the one behind it.
Okay, so the one.
Which one is the one behind?
Yes,
the chamfer. You see the machine.
There's a chamfer machine.
The one that has it.
I thought that chamfer was like some big.
Oh no! It's a small one.
Huh.
Yeah. You can keep it in your car.
So why did they give it a big name like that, chamfer?
Oh, but that's a name.
Right.
When it's written on in chamfer.
It's chamfer because it's a Chinese made.
Okay.
And my point, the way we are controlling and making sure that these excavators are tracked, and you know that once you export excavator, it is registered. There's a tracker and all those things that we are now currently doing.
I thought the chamfers were locally produced.
No, so the chamfer machines are brought from China.
Okay.
In pieces. Oh. This is what they do. And then they will take it to the various shops and then assembled together. So it's not like...
that way can it be regulated if it is in pieces?
So if we have a regulation that if you are building a chamfer machine in your house, I, the municipal chief executive, can come there and then come and take it off. Just like people bring in unorthodox drugs and then Food and Drug Board are able to go and then take it. Then I can easily go to the various chamfer areas where they manufacture, where they sell, and then collect all of them. And I'm so passionate about that.
Or I think that unless you show cause, for example, you know this machine, when we were young, they were used to in grinding corn and cassava.
Yes.
You know,
and some can even be used to produce electricity based on...
Exactly. So, for example, in his municipality, there are shops that grind the stones that have this. That one is contained in an area. So unless you show cause for why are you using it for? So it's a whole... It's a... I mean, the galamsey fight is a whole complex thing that we need to really approach it from understand.
So that we don't rope in innocent people who are doing genuine.
Because, for example, when the 2017, when they said, let's ban all galamsey, I also view that, for example, the people in Swahim, the only danger to the nation is when it collapses on them.
The pits.
The rock mining. The danger to that nation is when it collapses on them. Because that one, even in Agunam Konta, there are shops that when you go there, they grind the stones there, but the water they use is within, let's say, let's say graphic. You have one pot here, and there's a connection. So the guy who's washing the gold is standing here and is washing into this spot.
Okay.
When it's full, it will run back here.
I see.
So it doesn't escape anywhere.
Okay. So but even with that, it's still dangerous because health and safety.
When they are
there are basically two mining practices. You have surface mining practice of surface mining system, and you have the underground mining system. So what the Galamseyers call the rock mining can be a mini underground mining system with proper ventilation, proper mining practices, so that even when they wash down there, it doesn't affect groundwater, and it doesn't affect, because mining is not you bringing the money alone. Your health and safety is also very important. So
I mean, it's a whole.
And then we are on it. You know, when we went to the Cape 3 Forest, seized the Sanfar machines, seized almost about 28 pumping machines. Some of them even said that they were using the pumping machines to pump water for what's it called? Vegetation, agriculture.
Oh, okay.
Irrigation.
Meanwhile, the forest, nobody.
Meanwhile, so what we are going to do is that after setting up the proper cooperative mining, we are going to give all those seized pumping machines to farmers, proper farmers, for proper irrigation.
That's a good idea.
So that it can help our farmers in the municipal for us to even
I'm a farmer, so please.
Produce more.
But yours, I read that you ordered some galamseyers to cover the area they have mined.
Right.
From that experience, how do we really expand the such that the areas that they've devastated, we can get all of them covered?
So this galamsey fight is goodwill, I mean, and how determined you are. And as a municipal chief executive for Anta West, everybody knows my stand when it comes to illegal and irresponsible mining. I was going to a community for an engagement, and then just right on the roadside, these guys were using 2 excavators, mining just almost 5 kilometers from one of the streams. So I just stopped, and I told them that I am giving them 3 days. You should cover everything up. And within that space of 3 days, if you go to my Facebook, who is there, they had covered the whole area. And now what we are planning to do there is to put topsoil on it, and then either plant or use it for football pitch or for proper. And that is what we have to do.
Let me ask you a question, though. In your community, what do you observe? Do you observe that it's just young people who have appetites for mining? Do they have alternatives and they just feel that, you know what, mining is probably the shortest cut to get money? Because when it's that case, then it's difficult to even fight. Because then people advance the argument that they don't have jobs. That's why they engaged in illegal mining. But what have you been picking? Is it that they just have the appetite for mining?
That's a very good one, because they keep asking, do you know that Ghana Rubber Estate is going down because of mining? Because as I'm talking to you now, Ghana Rubber Estate have laid off over 100 workers.
But that they blame it on the anyway.
So I'm just tying into what the question she asked. In those days, people would love to go to rubber estate, go to the plantation and be helping in the tapping, helping, and then they will be ending their money. When they go to rubber estate, if they are marked, let's say, 1 cedi, now if he goes to the Galamsey site, it's going to be marked times 5. So that is the appetite for these young people, that when I go to any Galamsey site, I am going to earn more money. So the alternatives are there. We are coming up with a lot of alternative programs. So National Apprenticeship, Ejumara, and all those things. And as I'm talking to you now, when we rolled out some of the projects, people that we thought can come are now saying, if I go to the site, I'll get it. So the alternatives are there, but there's the appetite to earn more. And so I think that if we put this proper cooperative mining or cooperative mining in a proper context and make sure that we follow the laws and do proper mining or responsible mining, there will be a win-win. They will win, and as a country, the country also will win.
I have a test here that would probably take us to another discussion that is of interest to all of us in Ghana. Now it says, kindly tell our MC that Galamsey has destroyed our water, and I appreciate his effort to stop it. Hashtag, stop the exportation of natural rubber, cap lumps. He says, rubber factories in Ghana are shutting down due to low stocks of raw materials for production because of the exportation of natural rubber. Ghanaian youth in the rubber processing industry are losing their jobs due to unavailability of raw material, cap lumps. The Hunter-West economy will collapse if the rubber factory here finally shuts down. We have lost one shift now. We only hope government stops the exportation of natural rubber. Rubber factories will continue to employ more. A company with over 2,000 workers cannot shut down because of unavailability of raw materials. Have a wonderful day and a weekend, also on my way to work. And recently, when I came back home, people told me about how the guys who are buying the lamps and exporting directly is affecting Grail. And therefore, this number that you quoted have been laid off. And this guy who's a worker, obviously a worker of Grail, is calling on government to act. You know, this act of, like you and myself, have now set up buying centers. And when we buy the rubber, instead of selling to Grail, we export ourselves. So there's a company called Narrowbiz in Wasa East. Narrowbiz is almost shutting down. And that's what
because originally they were the ones that were buying.
Yes, so I think that once again it comes back to the law and regulation. I think there is a company association that actually look at what sum of money you need to buy, and there's a regulator that regulates this space.
Yes, the tree crop authority.
Yes, the tree crop authority. So the last time we had a conversation with Ghana Rubber Estate and then the art growers, because as it stands now, Rubber Estate even gives money to art growers for farmers to grow the rubber. But instead of them selling to Ghana Rubber Estate, because the Chinese, the Lebanese, and other people buy the raw rubber with quite substantial sum, they prefer to cut corners and give it to these Chinese guys. So I think once again, the MP is taking it. She's taking it up with the Minister of Agriculture, and then we will look at, because the test that the gentleman sent is a pressing one. Because as I'm talking to you,
I want to comment on it.
As I'm talking to you, almost about 100 people are gone. They are planning to shut down the Tibu plant.
Yes, and this is a newly built plant.
So
sad.
Thankfully, myself, I've been there. The minister, Western Regional Minister, Joseph Nelson, has been there.
I mean, his father was involved in that.
He was actually born in the plantation. So, and then the MP too has been there. So it's something that we are taking it up to make sure that we can save the rubber industry, because our economy in Hunter-West also depends. We have a huge chunk of people working in this rubber plantation and the rubber farming, and we see our best we work.
You know, the text and everything. On Wednesday afternoon, I was coming from Winneba, and there were so many trucks carrying the raw rubber. And I haven't seen it that way. I was like, what is this? I mean, I do some work in Winneba occasionally. And I've been going there for years, since about 2011. But for the first time, so many trucks carrying the rubber. Coincidentally, that evening too, on my way home, I used a beach road. And so many trucks carrying excavators. In the dead of night. I'm like, what is happening? So I'm glad Honorable brought up the laws and all that. We really need to look.
We need to enforce the laws.
Because it's like we are talking about a lot of things, putting a lot of things in place, the committees for the cooperatives. But right there,
It's happening
It's right in front of.
But for the excavators you are seeing now.
At night, each flatbed was carrying about 2 or 3
brand new.
Brand new.
So
many of them.
That would have been regulated.
So Wednesday night.
No, so it could be that those new, because as I'm talking to you now, it will be very difficult for anybody to bring an excavator in without the excavator being registered, number one, and being tracked. So the current excavators that are coming in are being registered by DVLA, and they put a tracker on them. Again, whatever reason you exported the excavator in, you need to give, whether it's for construction, whether it's for mining. And even if it's for mining, is it for small-scale mining or is for large-scale mining? So we cannot say that because we are trying to protect the environment, prevent galamseyers not to mine well, excavators shouldn't come in. The regulation and the enforcement is what we have to push here. And as you said, in those days, you will not have people buying raw rubber and then exporting, because if you export raw rubber, you will not get value for money. Unless you put it in another form before you can get a bit of value for money. So even Ghana Rubber Estate, a huge company, an asset to the nation, they've been in existence for over
it's been long
50-something years. Now they have plantation all over Ghana, are struggling to shut down, or they are shutting down because of this illegal export. And you cannot call it illegal export because people are reading in between the lines. Because they've seen that there is no enforcement or there's no direct law that bans them from buying or exporting raw rubber. And that is the angle that we have to look at and make sure that Parliament can have a law and say that, hey, when it comes to rubber, just like we did with gold board. Because when we came, people were just buying the gold, anybody was selling. And now we've been able to regularize it.
But
we can do the same
for
thing
the
for rubber.
excavators, do you anticipate that, of course, we're human beings. People like to maneuver and manipulate technology. Do you think that the trackers are the most potent way?
I think the trackers are the best.
Are they removable? For example,
so once again, enforcement comes in here, because if I put a tracker in your excavator, monitoring the space or the area that you're going to use the excavator to work, and I realized that I gave it to you in Ashanti region, and even in Ashanti region, let's say I gave it to you for the Kumasi enclave or Greater Kumasi enclave, and I've seen the excavator in Adansi, and it means that you've trespassed.
Now, what if I remove the tracker and put it on a car?
Then we have to trace you and make sure that we take.
Kumasi.
Yes, we have. So the system they are using now is the only system that can help us make sure that excavators don't end up in different places.
Okay. Let me read this message. Okay. It says, please, I learned this week that GREL is about to lay another 50 workers. So the MC and his government must act now, else they can't stop the galamsey. Please, you know other companies don't employ their hunters. So the MC must work fast for the people of Ahanta. Well, that's coming from Isaac in Aguna there. Okay, this one is to his brother, Daniel Agbashi in Mpoho says, good morning to Kofi Edu, Ahanta West MC.
Okay.
That's it. So, but I think that the people who are operating these buying spots, they're also creating jobs, one, but not as much as GREL. So what they should be, what should happen is that you sit down with them and say, when you buy, you are an agent for GREL. So you only sell to GREL and Narubis, which are the rubber processing factories we have here, because they employ a lot of people.
And there's another one that was coming up in the Ejambra enclave. There's another processing, a small processing factory that was coming. Then because of Bakojo, When we had a meeting with GROW, we also told them that they should also look at their pricing.
The pricing, yes. People.
But just like I said, there is an agency that gives the price.
Yeah.
So GROW will go with that price that the agency will give. And these people will go beyond. So always they target Ghana Rubber Estate, the pricing. So if Rubber Estate say I'm buying for, let's say, 40 cedi, then they will come and say, I'll give you 45.
45, yes.
Obviously,
the Ghanaian
will go for 45.
That's true.
So I think that this and it's something that is coming to the national platform now. It's good that we are discussing it here. I know the MP Honorable maybe Skukwa Bisu is pushing the Agric Minister to make sure that something is done about it in Parliament.
Talking about
let's see how it goes.
Could you, what's your favorite food?
Well, mine is fufu anyway.
Fufu.
Any day.
Fufu. Whatever. What's about you?
Okay, so I have I have fufu, I have fum, and I have a chicken.
All of that.
So fum is prepared from corn.
Okay.
That's our traditional food, the hunters.
Okay.
We pound it in mortar. You know the mortar used to pound palm.
Palm.
We used to pound the
foam.
And then we make it into balls.
You eat it with what?
Oh, you can eat it with pepper, stew.
Okay.
And the stew has to have a lot of cocoa in it.
Okay, I didn't ask for details. What's your favorite? You have given me. Probably what about yours? You also like fufu?
Yes.
With any soup at all?
Fufu with palm nuts.
Okay. And Ebenezer, what about you?
Foam for me.
Foam as well?
With kakao stew.
With kakao stew.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yesterday was World Food Day.
Oh, wow.
Yesterday was World Food Day. Now, it brought to the fore the conversation about the SDG Goal 2, to end hunger, zero hunger by 2030. But it will interest you that the Ghana Statistical Service has reviewed that the number of Ghanaians experiencing food insecurity really rose by 7.3% between the fourth quarter of 2024.
In Ghana?
Yes. Despite ongoing national efforts to tackle hunger. Now, according to the Ghana Statistical Service, it says that the number of people facing the food insecurity defined as the lack of access to adequate, nutritious food necessary for an active and healthy life increased from 12.3 million in the first quarter to 13.3 million in the last quarter of 2024. Now, what's even interesting is that we're reporting quite recently that Ghana has been experiencing some green glut.
Yes. Yeah.
Rice. And even just yesterday as well, up north, rice glut as well. And so what really are we not doing right? Do we have the food and just it's not well distributed? Who is not getting access to the food? Are we even on our journey to ending this zero hunger? What does it look like for you?
I think that we can. But once again, you look at, because let me take my small hunter works, for example. We grow all sorts of food products there. Yeah. So cassava does well very there. Maize, plantain, sometimes palm. Yeah. You can say a bit of onions.
Okay.
And we have arable lands.
Yeah.
So I think that we should now be deliberate. Once again, and I keep on saying deliberate, because I'm coming from the corporate side. I'm coming from the mine. So my mindset is corporate. Making sure that all the best practices are followed. Invest. And that is what we are trying to do now. That all investment that we are finding is potentially through the agri sector as well. Because if we grow more, there will be abundance of food. And for me, I believe that that's something that we can do. At this modern age or stage, I don't think that people should go hungry. Because sometimes you even cook in your house and then you have leftovers.
Yeah.
When I cook or when there's food in the house and you're throwing certain portions away, you sometimes think that I have gotten something to eat. What about the ordinary person on the street? So the policies are there. And one thing, since I came to government, or direct government, I've seen that we have the best of laws, the best of beautiful things. Ghana is blessed, the best of brains. what we now need is enforcement, making sure that the right things are done. When you watch the PAC reviews and then you watch the parliamentary committees on local governance reviews, we came to meet the infractions. And I'm happy that the president is even going to meet the Auditor General and making sure that people do the right things at their various offices. Those infractions that monies are going to people's pocket here and there, those monies can be used at certain areas for us to get food for people, isn't it? So I think that we have to, and the time for us to change this country and make it better is now. And I am part of that. I'm lucky to be part of the younger generation in our party now that has been given opportunity. And my mindset and our focus is to make sure that some of these things, policies, beautiful policies, are followed through for us to get the best for our people. So I think that is something that we can all do together as a country.
Okay. Yeah, if I could add, it reminded me of what I heard yesterday by Pope Leo, that he criticized the whole of humanity as a collective, that world hunger is a collective failure of all of us. And I said, but what have I done? But I realized that he was right. As Honorable was saying, even your leftovers. When people say leftover, they think what is on your plate, but not necessarily.
Yes.
You can eat and have something in your pot. You have people in your neighborhood who are undernourished. You should reach out to them. That is what you can do on an individual level. On the state level, there could be improvement in the transportation of food to other places. There could be improvement in storage and processing of food, like the silo system we had in the CPP days. So we all have something.
I like the way my brother loves the CPP.
We all have something to do, whether from the bottom up or from the top down. And together we can conquer world hunger.
Because you're a farmer, maybe. You know that a little over 3.2 million tons of food is wasted. Either lost, wasted, and they cite the value chain, the supply chain. And at what point, is it at the harvest point? Is it at the processing point?
It's an area of issues. So, you know, we have a big issue with post-harvest losses. Because in this country, he made mention of the silos that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah built. We neglected all of them, and therefore we are not able to have places to keep these produce that we have. And then again, the roads leading to our farms are terrible. So the farmer will harvest, but the car to come and transport it to the farm is one issue.
Oh dear.
Now, so before the car will come and transport it, some are gone. They don't have anywhere to keep them, right? And then on the value chain, when I go for the produce from the farmer, I transport it to Accra. By the time I get here, some have gone bad. So the price is also, you know, you put a certain price on it, and before the thing would finish, for example, tomatoes, when we were selling tomatoes in the Agron Quanta market, before you sell it, some will go bad as well.
Yeah.
So along the value chain, you will lose a lot. The government in and government out, we've not been strategic and deliberate about getting to solve this. So what storage facilities can we build in the various districts where we know that farming is high there, so that we can store a lot of the produce that we have? And how can we even repair our roads? In our West, its municipality has terrible roads.
No, it's better.
In 9 months, it's better?
Because we are using the drip machines very well. We are doing a lot of grading.
So what you do is that you have better roads from the market, the farm areas, to at least the roadside, so that the farmers can have easy access to transport the materials there. So if I meet, let's say, maize in Abuade, for example, brought in from Sese, I can buy it at Abuade and bring it to Agran Quanta or Takrady and sell.
But could you think that another area where we have to do is the small mini processing plants for these products?
Yes.
Okay. So it's not necessary that we have to can everything. So we can have a mini processing tomato factory at, let's say, Akumadan.
Yes.
Put everything in one, grind your tomato to paste, and then bring it to a factory in Tema for the canning.
Yeah.
So these are the ideas that.
In Burkina Faso,
but you see, we have
that
this idea beautiful. But how to move from the idea to the
ideation to the implementation? I think Burkina Faso has done it very well. You see that most of the tomatoes that they harvest, most of it they themselves are now processing it, canning it, and selling it in the country
because
itself.
They've seen that tomato over time, within some few days, go bad.
I think, and they also came up with a mechanism where every citizen in that country pays a little amount. I think if you're purchasing something, they put some percentage, maybe if it's in Ghana, I'll say 1 cedi, where we all know that this amount of money is going into the processing of tomatoes, and then we can it and all of that.
Right.
So that you can eat your fum.
Exactly.
Can you tell us your favorite?
Now this one says, Kojo, we the farmers will not allow GREL to exploit us by pushing for TCDA, which is a Tree Crop Development Authority, to stop exportation of rubber. It says GREL, Narubis, and other processing companies only form part of the rubber chain, and there are equally other important value chain operators like the farmers and exporters. TCDA is just doing their right job as regulators. Take note that the rubber exportation is legal, and the processors should know this and give the farmers good prices. We mentioned it. It says there's a price mechanism that TCDA is using, which all stakeholders have agreed. This price mechanism sets the minimum price, and buyers must come out with their own price. GREL and other processing companies set very low prices, and other exporters will give better prices to farmers. Farmers think that GREL and other companies pay more than the minimum price, but are not willing to pay. No one should blame the poor farmer for GREL shutdown. Okay,
so
that's coming from Mike.
So Kojo, the thing is this: if TCDA has a price, and you know that just like Gold Board is doing, now Gold Board has a price. When they give you that price, you cannot go beyond that price or lower the price. You understand what I'm saying? So TCDA should be able to give one price so that all farmers will follow. So if you are selling it outside, then you sell it outside. If you are giving it to Ghana Rubber Estate,
I think Ahanta West, you need a stakeholder engagement. But we'll end our conversation today here on the News Review. We're joined by Kwame Nkrumah Boti's General Secretary, CPP, and Ebenezer Edu. He is MC Ahanta West. Thank you so much for joining us on the News Review. But of course, there's more on the show. Please stay. Sure, and another thrilling journey to crown Ghana's brightest scientific minds starts on Monday in the 2025 edition of the National Science and Maths Quiz, NSMQ. Defending champions in Fantifem School has no choice but to prove their victory in 2024 was no fluke. Here is a throwback to their win in this report by Adobia Asari.
Well done, 2024 champions!
They shocked the nation last year and took home the National Science and Maths Quiz Trophy, a win that stunned their fiercest rival. But the Fantifem knows all too well that winning it is one thing, defending it, that's a different game. With a weight of expectation on their shoulders, what's their game plan this time? Let's find out. After a decade of hunger, the Fantifem School finally tasted victory last year when they lifted the National Science and Maths Quiz Trophy. The win reignited pride across the Butchie community, but that joy has quickly turned into pressure. Because in the NSMQ, winning once is glory, but defending the title is history, a feat only Presbyterian Boys Secondary School Legon has ever achieved. Now, the Fantifem carries that weight. The crown that once symbolized triumph now feels heavier with every passing day. Inside their quiz room, the boys push harder, knowing the world is watching to see if they can do what only Presec has done. For coordinator Echo Williams, last year's victory was more than a celebration.
it was a statement, but with that statement comes a challenge. He says they are not reinventing the wheel, they are perfecting what already works.
This year, we aren't doing anything really new. It's the same thing, just like training the kids. It's like, let's say, the blast furnace. The fire is never quenched. So the same way, we make sure that questions, material, and everything are given to the students continually. We don't stop.
It has been quite fun and sometimes tense. It's all the pressure on us from other schools that they want to take the trophy back from us. But we're hoping this year God be on our side and we take it again.
The whole process is stressful. I mean, having to learn multiple topics at the same time, and then it's not easy, but then we know that since God's on our side, we do our best.
The pressure to defend the title is real, but fear, that's no longer part of their vocabulary.
We don't even fear anymore because we know that God is on our side, and through the preparation we've done, we know that this year it's not going to be, we are not going to win by 1 point, but maybe by a big gap or something. So we are hoping God does that for us.
Among those helping the boys prepare are Lawrence and Kenneth, both old students of Infansipim. They've returned to share their experience and guide their juniors, not out of obligation, but out of love for the red and black.
Initially, when I was done with this school, I realized I have more to offer to these kids. And the love for my school drove me back here to teach them the things I learned the hard way. Because I don't want them to go through the same stress of having to go the long way to get things. And I want the best for them, so I have to come back.
I actually believe in the boys and also the love of the game as well. That's why I'm always here to help them out with anything they need.
So, is the trophy staying in Butri?
Of course, obvious.
Most definitely. Why not?
Surely.
This year, Infansipim returns not as challengers but as defenders. The question is, can they make history by holding on to the crown?
Okay, your question. A 25-year-old girl climbs up a mountain at 30 kilometers per hour. She stays there for 5 days and comes back down. Calculate her best day.
That's preposterous.
Thy name, O to be forever blessed.
For Joy News, I am Adobe Asari.
Well, I will tell you my story about Infansipim, and it's the reason I will support them today. I will support them tomorrow. We'll talk about it later. But a gentle reminder that the AM show is sponsored by Kinoga Company Limited and Syntex Tank. Now, every October, the University of Ghana makes time to engage with prospective students across the country. And this year, there's no exception. The University of Ghana Open Day is a special event that opens its doors to prospective students, parents, guardians, headmasters, and teachers. And joining me in studio this morning is Mrs. Lydia Anowa Nyako Dankwa, Director of Academic Affairs, University of Ghana, and as well Professor Sheena Lovia Boating, Associate Professor of Marketing and Entrepreneurship, University of Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
I mean, yesterday when I saw, when my producer discussed with me that we're going to have this conversation, I said, University of Ghana, Open Day. As for University of Ghana, everybody wants to go there, really. But maybe, Prof, let me come to you first. Tell me, how long has this been happening at the University of Ghana?
So we've been doing it for the past 3 years. Because we realized after COVID hit that we were not able to continue with our traditional outreach, where we would go directly to the secondary schools and speak to them about our programs. And we were not able to go to all the schools in Ghana anyway, so we thought, why not re-strategize and have them come to us and have a better experience by getting to also explore the university campus and get to see what we have to offer firsthand, instead of us going to them and just telling them.
Okay, great. Mrs. Donko, let me just even take us back before COVID. And so how long did the university decide that they should be engaging secondary school level students? How long have you been doing that?
MFA, this is something we've done all the time since the inception of the university. And the university is very old. We were established in 1948. So we reach out to prospective students to offer them, as our first strategic priority says, a transformative experience. We want people to know what they are getting into. And so we reach out to the various schools to get to them. But unfortunately, year after year, we haven't been able to reach all the schools. You know, we have a lot of high schools in Ghana. So what we have done is that we only reach those who ask us to come. And then we also reach some of the less endowed schools. But this time, we want to give people the opportunity to come on campus and have a feel of what it is like to be part of us.
That's a very interesting strategy. I still can't get over the idea that University of Ghana, and I'm hitting on this, Prof, and Mrs. Dankwa, that most of those who went to University of Ghana in this school here in this company here, like my producer in my ears at the moment, they don't let us sleep. So I'm thinking, for University of Ghana, dear, it's like Gary advertising itself. Yes. I mean, over the years, what do you think has triggered this open day? I mean, when you were visiting the students, even at the secondary school level, and even opening your arms and inviting parents and both the prospective students to come to campus. What triggered it?
Well, we have to understand that the world is changing. And you cannot sit on your backside in your university and think that people will come to you. We want to attract the best students. We want to attract the best people. Okay, and we can only do that by going out there, reaching out. Okay, otherwise, before you know it, we'll become redundant. And so this is what we are doing to make sure that we are still on the radar of prospective students and, in fact, the whole of Ghana, even globally. So that is why we are doing this.
That's good to know. And Prof, what's really surprised you most in this journey of, engaging the prospects, engaging guardians and parents? Sometimes somebody would ask a question and you're wondering, wow, I thought you knew this about the school. But for you, your personal experience, what shocked you most?
We were very surprised by the amount of misinformation out there, because there were a number of people who actually thought that if you were coming to Legon, there were only 2 programs you could apply for, either medicine or admin. So that was one of the main reasons why we thought the open day is very necessary, because we have so many programs that lead to so many interesting career paths other than medicine and administration that students could explore. And therefore, bringing them to campus will give them the opportunity to learn about these programs so that they can be able to choose them instead of all moving in one direction and choosing the medicine and the administration. But we have a lot of them, most of the time, not qualifying for those, and for that reason, not getting admitted into the University of Ghana.
That's a bit more difficult. That's a bit more difficult. And in engaging them, you found people right under your eyes change their mind and choose different subjects or courses. You've seen that?
Yes, definitely. The awareness has made a difference. We have so many programs. We have over 200 programs of study offered in the University of Ghana. And all of them have very great prospects. In fact, one of our senior management members chose medicine and wasn't given.
Okay.
And chose something else, and now is kind of top in the world in his field.
Oh.
Okay, and he thanks God that he didn't take that medicine. I'm not saying medicine is bad, but he keeps saying this. When we have events, he talks about it. Okay, there are so many options, and everybody wants to go into that little eye of the needle. But we have very great programs that, have good opportunities when you graduate.
Okay.
And so we want them to know that.
Let's talk about this year then. It's happening when and where on the university, on the campus, and can people just driving, how easy have you made people to be able to attend this open day? Prof, you can take it.
Sure. So it's taking place from the 22nd to the 23rd of October 2025. The first day on the 22nd of October would be on the main University of Ghana campus at the UG Sports Stadium. So that is a huge venue. Because
right at the entrance of the university.
Yes.
So it is a very accessible space. Just after you make the turn at the Opronglo Junction, you get to the stadium and you come. We're having it at the car park. Okay. So it's very accessible to everyone. And we will make sure that everyone is catered to, such that once you come into the premises, there are several ushers and volunteers who are waiting to welcome you and to direct you to the relevant stand where you can get all the information that you're looking for.
Okay.
Apart from that, the next day, which is the 23rd, we are also allowing those who want to explore our Kolebu campus to visit that campus. So the first day is for the main campus, and then on the 23rd, we are moving the action to the Kolebu campus. But the main campus will still be open for those who would want to explore the campus further.
Okay, so the main campus will still be open, and it will have people who can attend to or cater to people who would walk in
All
there.
the faculties and schools will be open to receive prospective parents, guardians, all questions will be answered very effectively, even though it is not on the ground like we did the day before.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Mrs. Danko, let me in on the day, especially at that stadium. What form and shape will it take? Is it that the departments will speak? Is it that lecturers will speak? Student leaders? What form and shape will it take?
It's sort of like a fair.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll have stands for various things: academic processes, admissions processes. Okay. What you need to know to apply. We have somebody, a stand there for the admissions office to talk about that, to make sure that you have, if you have already applied, we can actually check your application and make sure that everything is fine and you are increasing your chances of being admitted. Then we have the various colleges and schools, or others with their own stands.
Okay.
Okay, so you can go to the college that you are interested in and talk to them about their programs. And then we have stands for the various services that we have to offer. You know, the University of Ghana has the best support for disabled students. We have our Center for Disability Studies and Advocacy. They will be there to talk to students who are disabled about what they can do to support them when they come in. We also have our UG's Pass program. It's a program that supports athletes who may not have done so well academically. So we bring them in, we give them scholarships, and we support their studies, and in combination with their sports careers.
Okay.
And then we have the library, we have so many facilities that the university has to offer, and they are all going to be there.
I heard somebody say that the University of Ghana is Ghana.
Yes, it is. It is. I agree.
You agree,
yes,
yeah?
I hope you also agree.
Nearly. I think you're convincing me. Prof,
So,
okay, please land
So,
on it.
and then we also have people, as we are going around in the fair, we have people speaking on various topics regarding admissions and the university. So we have quality assurance, we have careers and counseling. You know, everybody, those who have the opportunity will come and talk to the people who are there. And then we have buses on the grounds to take you out to wherever you want to go. So for instance, I'm interested in engineering. I'll sit in the bus that goes to engineering. I go there. There are people in the School of Engineering who will talk to you and then will bring you back. If you are interested in the medical school, you sit in the bus, we'll drive you all the way to Kolebu. You go and chat. You go and see the place. You inspect the lecture theaters. You talk to some of the lecturers, and then we bring you back to where you came from.
There must be some special treats
yes.
on this open day.
Yeah.
Over the years, we've had, I mean, stories or challenges of accommodation. Is this going to feature prominently in this open day, and what form will it take as well? Accommodation, students complaining about accommodation and accessibility.
Yes, there's going to be a stand for the residence board.
Okay.
The residence board, they will be there to talk to students about the options available.
Okay.
But you know, the university operates the in, out, out, out policy. So when you come to the first year, you are guaranteed accommodation. Okay, but following that, you will have to find your place. We do have a lot of space, but unfortunately, it's not enough for everyone. So definitely, when you come freshman, you land on your feet, you settle, then you can seek out for the following year, seek out your own
that's what you call the
accommodation.
in, out, out.
Out.
Policy.
4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least it's refreshing to know that there will be a stand at least addressing this very important need. Maybe I'll give you the last 1 minute to at least invite people. That's your camera. Yeah. Okay, of course, before the last word, of course.
Okay, just one word. We also have a webinar on the third day. We have a third day.
Okay.
The third day is a webinar for those who cannot come to Accra to enjoy the open day. This is an online Microsoft Teams event. It's at 4 o'clock on the 24th.
Of October,
if you go on social media, you see the QR codes there. You can scan the links and register.
Okay.
Then on that day, at that time, you can join in and you can ask questions and we can also give you the information.
Oh, that's nice that you've considered this outside of Accra. It would be nice for you to make some time and come to Accra, though, especially if that's the school you want to go to.
Yes.
You really don't want to do this online. I mean, you should come to Accra, have a feel. Well, tell us why we should come. That's your camera.
We are excited to have all of you come. Like we said, this has been going on for the past 3 years, and every year we are excited to receive all of you with your myriad questions and inquiries. In fact, that is why we are having the fair. So we encourage all prospective students, parents, guardians, teachers, counselors, academic advisors, please make your way to the University of Ghana Stadium on the 22nd and join us for the Open Day celebration. The second day, on the 23rd, we will be at the Kolibu campus, still receiving visitors, both on the Kolibu campus and the main campus, to be able to answer all your questions and give you a grand tour of our prestigious institution. For those of you outside of Accra, you are not left out. On the 24th, we are having the webinar. So if you are unable to join us on the 22nd and 23rd, just visit our social media or the University of Ghana website and use the QR code, scan it, and register to attend the webinar, and we will be waiting to receive you to answer all your questions. See you all there.
Okay, Dr. Nyakodakwa, do you have some
yes,
final
just a
words
few.
to share?
I just want to say that you are welcome to the University of Ghana family. You know, there's nothing like being part of the University of Ghana. MFI will attest to that fact. So please, come and find out for yourself what we have to offer you so that you can make an informed decision about joining us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Because I have younger siblings, I'm happy that you have brought this to the fore. All right, we've been joined by Mrs. Lydia Anawa Nyako-Dankwa. She's Director, Academic Affairs, University of Ghana, and also Professor Sheena Lovia Boateng, Associate Professor of Marketing and Entrepreneurship at the University of Ghana. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today. We have a lot more on the show, and one of my favorite persons, Dr. Ekwa Amwako, joins us for a conversation. Please stay.
Sorry, I made you feel.
Well, 31st January is just around the corner, and so the NPP and those who want to lead the party as the party's flag bearer are really working and wrapping up their campaigns. But how is it going for the Dr. Bawumia camp? We host Dr. Ekwa Amwako, who is deputy spokesperson for the Bawumia campaign. She joins us in studio. Ekwa, good morning.
Good morning.
So, you good?
Yes, we're doing well. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, but we're keeping well.
And how's the campaign going?
The campaign is going very well. His Excellency started his tour of the Bono East region on Wednesday. He started in the Sene Enclave. So he's been able to cover about 6 constituencies now, moving on to the 7th now. So he's somewhere in the Kentampo Enclave as we speak. The message is being very well received, which personally to me, as I always say, is not too much of a surprise, but it's always refreshing to know that the delegates are still strongly behind His Excellency.
You're not worried about fear delegates?
Well, of course, it's a delegates election, and that word fear delegates is not to be looked at lightly. But you also cannot discount the kind of bonds that are built over time. And when people genuinely believe in your capabilities as a leader to lead them. And one thing that I think people also forget is that His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia has been leader of the party, or in essence, flag bearer since 2023. And when you are flag bearer or you are in that position, it means you work with everybody, because the delegates are essentially the party machinery. So these are people that have been working with him, campaigning with him over time, and they know and can testify the best to his capabilities and his character. So in this case, we are not too worried about fear delegates, but of course human beings will be human beings, and that's why we are not taking this lightly or showing any complacency. We are still going to reach every constituency in this country and engage with them and remind them as to why the journey that was started in 2023 is not complete, the need for them to continue to unite behind His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia till we eventually get to our goal.
Okay. There's this recent move I've seen which says Dr. Bawumia is battling you're battling, internal forces and then external forces.
Yes.
It's been loud on social media for a couple of days.
Yes.
I mean, how are you dealing with that pressure of knowing that, one, you need to work or deal with external factors and then internal ones as well?
Yeah, I think that was sort of expected, and I think it's interesting that other people have begun to take notice, because primarily as an opposition party, our job is to be very vigilant and keep the government on its toes. That should be our primary responsibility. But we are at a point in our lives where we also have essentially an election to fight for our very existence. So yes, it's become sort of a two-front battle that we are fighting, trying to keep the NDC on their toes so they don't take the people of Ghana for granted, as they've begun to do in certain sectors, and again to try and hold on for the heart and the sanity of the NPP. So it's been an interesting journey, but I think we've been able to display that we are quite capable of getting both sides of the job done.
If you look at the Daily Gist on page 3, it says the internal politics of the NPP has turned combative as leading presidential aspirant Kennedy Ohene-Agyapong and Dr. Brian Acheampong have launched scathing criticisms at the former Vice President and 2024 presidential candidate, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, over what they describe as his, quote, premature and costly concession, unquote, to the then opposition National Democratic Congress.
Yes, I saw this making the rounds a couple of days ago, and I think it's quite unfortunate that the campaign is going down this line. It seems to me like the other aspirants mostly, if it's not to blame His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia for the election defeats on the back of a government that they were all part of. So I'm sure if we won the 2024 election, every one of these aspirants would have come out to mention their contribution and how they helped for us to win the election. But now that we've lost, there seems to be a very deliberate attempt to put everything onto the person of His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. And to me, I've always maintained that action just shows that he's the one to beat, that, you know, it's still him, and they are all aware that the spirit of the NPP is still solidly behind him. So what do they have left to do? There's a lack of messaging and all of that. So all they have left to do is to constantly attack things he's done and his persona. But to pick this to attack, I mean, I was quite surprised. We were all here and we saw the reaction from the Ghanaian people when His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia decided to put the peace of the nation ahead of whatever might have happened on election day. And so for that to now be tried to spun into some negative, it's quite funny for me because it's not even sinking. I saw a flyer on social media and I just decided to go and read the comments when one of the aspirants made reference to that. Because the Ghanaian people had made their voices heard to us. By midnight on election day, from our own internal coalitions, we were aware where the election had gone, that we had lost by a large margin. And so the only thing left was to ensure that all the parliamentary candidates had been able to put their pink sheets together and all those coalitions were done so that he could then concede. Because if we all remember, it was around that time that the National Communications Officer of the NDC had issued a press conference to say that people should amass at the polling centers. I don't know if you remember that incident. So if you were there through the heat of election day, you understand why certain decisions were made and why it was made to maintain the peace and harmony of this country and nothing else. And to say that it was done in sort of a reckless way to cost us seats is simply not true. All of these things were taken into consideration. We were sure that the presidential was gone. We waited till most of the seats were at a point where you have enough information to dispute, even if there's an issue like happened. I think there was an outstanding of about 9 constituencies before His Excellency conceded defeat, and we made sure that what is required to be able to make a case in those constituencies, we had it, which was the pink sheets and all of that. And there was a lot of uncertainty. The atmosphere on that day was very charged. We all saw how the NDC went into this election and how they planned to go into that election. There was a lot of chaos. There was heightened tension, and it was at that point that I think His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia showed to a lot of Ghanaians that he has the cool head to be able to handle a country such as Ghana. Because when you want to be president, it's no mean task. It's not, you are not a minister in charge of a small sector or a CEO in charge of something small. You are the father of the country, not just for those who voted for you or just NPP people. You are a father for NDs, you are a father for people who are not even politically inclined. You are supposed to be able to handle all of those people together and manage the country. So if you cannot even separate recklessness and courage on such an eventful day, such as an election day, when you are very sure that you've already lost, then I think it also comes into something that Ghanaians should look at, because this issue has presented two approaches to a very delicate issue. We are in this country and we've seen a lot of violence happen on election day. People have lost their lives due to this kind of election violence. And after we come and sit on TV and discuss these issues and try to come up with ways to prevent it in the future. So if a leader at a point where he is supposed to be the most pained because he has invested so much toward the whole country, there are times where you don't even get up to 4 hours of sleep when you're on a campaign tour. And after all of that, you lose. I think it would have been hardest for him to decide to be obstinate and say that I'm not going to concede, we are going to fight this out. But that would have spilled out onto the streets. It would have given other people an opportunity to take advantage of that to cause mayhem. So if he decides to say at that point, let's put the peace of this country ahead. After all, it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So if this one is gone, we can always reorganize, show Ghanaians who we truly are and how we intend to help them and move on, and we'll be able to come to them again. But if you allow the country to burn and there's nothing to come back to, I don't see how that is being pushed as some kind of a courageous or a brave move. I'm quite happy that it's not even sinking with the people of Ghana. They don't see that as brave. You've already lost, you know you've lost. So whether you concede or not, how is that something that is used as political capital?
Are you surprised at the way the campaign is going so far for all of the aspirants and some of the things that they're advancing in terms of their campaign message? Beyond what they want to do for the party and for the country, they're also launching some, attacks on the vice president that, well, he caused the losing in 2024. But are you not coming along in a way because of the way the vice president himself campaigned in 2024, using the famous Fasti Anamame, suggesting that I didn't have the opportunity to do what I wanted to do. So give me the opportunity to now, have the firm grip of the country. And in other breath, he takes the credit for the other things, digitalization and all of that. It almost looked as though he was cherry picking.
Okay, so I think that's a very interesting question. I was hoping that we would leave this, I was hoping to have like maybe 2 hours so that we can actually discuss this, because I think that becomes one of the sticking points all the time. But it's important for us to be honest and have a frank conversation about this. We all know what the role of a vice president is. If we want to be frank, we want to be very honest. Now that President Mahama is getting a lot of flack about Galamsey and whatnot, you don't even see them say John Mahama Jane Nana government. But His Excellency, the former vice president, when he was in opposition and a running mate, took a very leading part in the NPP's campaign to be able to come into power in 2016. So sometimes it's understandable that a lot more expectation is placed on him than other vice presidents. And when a government is formed, it requires a lot of people. It takes about 6,000, 7,000 people to form a government. Everybody's given a responsibility. And with that responsibility, for instance, some of the contenders were in charge of ministries, say agric, education. Would it be wrong for a former minister of education or a former minister of agric to say that, oh, with regards to STEM or with regards to free SHS, this is what I did to make sure that the NPP government's policy was properly executed? It's not like he's taking credit solely for himself, but I think he has earned the right to point out that if he was directly in charge of this, this is how I did that. And so if you are trying to measure my capability as a person in the government, you can then use that. In the same vein, the former vice president as the number 2 of the land, there are things that he directly sought to or directly ensured was done. And in those things, if we point it out, that, you know, with the issuance of the Ghana card. And a lot of people were around, the media was around, it was well covered, and we saw how he took center stage, he took control of that to ensure that that was done. So I don't think it's fair if we deny him the ability to be able to let us know the things that his boss, the president, allowed him to directly get involved in when he was in government to do. And there are things like the fertilizer issue that happened. You see, that was definitely under the remit of a different ministry. So if we want to have a frank conversation, we can do that. But I think it's very important that we point out that there's collective responsibility for all of us. And that has become my problem with the other aspirants.
But for a political party, you usually, I mean, you said the government, you always hear that the Akufo-Addo-led government, the John Mahama-led government. But when it comes to a political party, you hardly hear the Akufo-Addo-led NPP party. And so the political party, I like to think, thought that, well, it's supposed to be one for the team.
Yes.
If something didn't go well,
if you look at it, MFI, if you look at all the other aspirants, it seems to be only one candidate who seems to be taking all the flack of the party and the government.
Yeah, and my question really is that, isn't it because he didn't take one for the team?
How?
In 2024, in his campaign messages, the moment you are reminding the people of Ghana what your real role is per the Constitution and what the president then allowed you to do, then of course, then it will look like you're not taking one for the team.
No. So let me just settle that. There's always been collective responsibility. You know, there are even certain times where there's a meeting, there's a cabinet meeting, it's not everybody that will agree to something. But once it has been agreed at cabinet level, and that's the direction of the government, everybody takes collective responsibility. And I don't think His Excellency has run away from that at all. He's always been a firm believer in taking collective responsibility of everything that happened in the Akufo-Addo government, whether good or bad, because he was an integral part of it. So that's never been the case. So it was even on the back of that some of the party people feeling left behind and neglected, he took that opportunity and that responsibility to apologize for them. I don't think most of them had a problem with him directly, or the sources of their displeasure with whatever the government did or what the party did to other party members was directly done by him. But he saw it necessary as a leader to take responsibility for everything and then apologize for where things didn't go right for the party people. So I think for him, no, actually it's been the reverse. All the other candidates seem to rather want to push everything that they find to have been a problem with the NPP administration at his doorstep because he was the former vice president, while trying to stylishly remove themselves from whatever might have caused the defeat. But the truth is, if we want to sit here and analyze everything that happened in 2024 leading up to the election, most of the aspirants will have their own, a nice share of the cake of whatever led into the defeats. And I think it's been discussed over and over, and so I wouldn't want to use your precious airtime again to go into that. But it seems that seems to be the only campaign message coming out of the other camps, like I said in the beginning. Their only issue is that you went for an election, you lost, it's your fault, when they were all part of the same government, if that's the logic. And I think I've already sat here several times to make the point that one election defeat should never be considered as a reason to essentially write someone off when it comes to an election, because our history and even the world's history has proven that that is not the best way to judge someone. And we cannot forget to continue making this point clear. His Excellency was the former vice president. We haven't seen his presidency yet. The president would have the opportunity to appoint everybody.
Events, they say something. Coming events cast their shadows or something. Yeah. And so if I've not seen his presidency, yes, I've seen his vice presidency.
Yes, you've seen his vice presidency. Yes, you've seen his vice presidency. And on the back of that, we are saying that he did very well as vice president. He brought so much shine and light to the position of vice president that people keep saying that he's been the most impactful vice president. He was so visible as vice president that now I've seen videos of teachers asking kids in their classrooms about who the current vice president is, and his name is mentioned like 8 out of 10 times. So we cannot dispute the value of that marketability that he has. We cannot dispute the value of that track record he has. But it's on the back of that same issue that other aspirants are trying to blame him solely for a defeat, while if the tables were turned and it was a victory, they would have all claimed part of it. But I've tried to listen to them keenly, and short of blaming him for the defeat, finding some reasons to assign to the blame, I do not hear them say anything as regards to their vision for the country or their vision for the party delegates. And I've been wondering why.
They've been talking about jobs.
Yeah.
For example, one candidate says, and I quote, "The delegate must reject any candidate who does not talk about jobs, but spends time attacking personalities."
Oh, I don't know who does not talk about jobs and would spend time talking about personalities. And with the jobs conversation, I also think it's being greatly skewed. The candidate that seems to be focusing a lot on jobs himself says that he's provided about 8,000 jobs, which is disputable. I mean, we can go into the arguments of asking where those 8,000 jobs are. But let's give him that he's been able to give 8,000 jobs. We look at the statistics in this country, and we need between 500,000 to 1 million jobs created yearly. And that is why I'm sure the NDC came up with this 24-hour economy 133, because jobs, employment is something that when you try to sell, it will be sold. A lot of people need jobs. But to be able to create jobs in a country like Ghana, in the times that we're in 2025, the best and the wisest step to be able to do it on such a whole-scale level and to be able to create some high-value jobs would be to take advantage of the current industrial revolution that we are in, which will be directed towards the IT stuff, so that you are not just creating any jobs, you are creating very high-quality jobs. You can imagine if you're able to get a company like Google into Ghana. Even if you are the security man or you open the door at Google, you would have enough emoluments and salary to have a nice standard of living. And that has been the vision. You look at His Excellency's plans for jobs, what he was trying to do with the taxation, the tax system of our country, given the tax amnesty. Recently, I was in Ashanti region and I met one of the businessmen in KGT, and he was saying that, wow, that tax amnesty thing people wanted to do and the flag tax was something that would have really helped, and he hopes that we eventually get the opportunity so we're able to execute these things. If you were a businessman and you owe GRA about 2 million or 3 million, and all of that debt is forgiven, what do you do with that amount of money? You reinvest it back into the business, and immediately you've created so many jobs. And so if you do this, it impacts so many businessmen around the country, and immediately there's a capital boom into the system, and they will employ more people. There was another thing that he spoke about offsetting about 3% of the country's GDP, which now would have gone into the public sector, into the private sector. So now, if you want to build a school, government wants to build a school, they need to find all the money, find a contractor, and then the school is built. We were trying to create a system where those things could be done by the private sector, and the government is paying maybe a monthly lease or something like that. That would have also created a very huge boom in the infrastructure sector of the country. Construction jobs would have been everywhere. Then to the first thing I spoke about with the IT, the FinTech Fund, which was going to have about 100 million, after creating the environment to train a lot more people in that very valuable skill set, you create a fund for them to access money, and then we can just imagine the amount of ingenuity and innovation that could have come out of this country. It's something Kenya tried not too long ago, and now they have all these IT startups that are doing well. So I think there's a very deliberate attempt and a deliberate plan and vision by His Excellency to create high quality jobs. That is not just about building factories, because as a country, as a country we tried that with the 1D1F, with building factories. We built about factories involved in the 1D1F program is somewhere over 140 factories, but it didn't solve the unemployment problem. The jobs that we've been able to directly attribute to 1D1F is a little under 100,000. But you can imagine when just the Momo interoperability blew up, how many private people have gotten involved. We looked at the numbers and it's about 800,000. So to create jobs is not just to say that I've built a few factories, which we have to go and check whether they are even opening now or running now. I've built a few factories, so I can do that. I feel like the whole world has even moved beyond that point of industrialization. It's something we've tried, 140. It didn't solve the problem. So if that's the same thing you are bringing, I don't even see how that answers the jobs question.
Okay, so should he become the NPP's flag bearer if you go to the polls in January, as Kujo said, and then he's voted for and he becomes the flag bearer. What differently is he going to be saying to the people of Ghana that would be different from what he said in 2024? Is the team as well quite concerned about how he'll convince the people of Ghana and not getting us to remember the economic downturn during the NPP era? What differently are you going to say?
I think it's quite clear that some of the things that were attributed to him, or some of the flag that His Excellency gets, is not earned, it's not well deserved. Because the NDC noticed that he was obviously the most formidable person coming out of the NPP, a smear campaign was launched against him very early in our administration. I think somewhere in 2020. Funny enough, they started coming out to confess their sins on some of the things that they did. And I think luckily for us, you know, the truth and these things, you can't hide them for too long. So there's been a lot of vindication of the things that he did. And we cannot run away from the fact that you can pull up all the economic indicators of this country from 2017 till before COVID, and you will see the statistics, the best that we've had in this country for some time. The first time we recorded a single-digit inflation was during that period. So indeed, a lot of things were done at that time to bring some stability. But even if you read the IMF reports, what it says is that over time, so even before 2017, the economy of the country had been run in such a way that if there was a huge external shock, we would bear the brunt. And that's exactly what happened. And I think what is important to note, or what is a very important attribute to get from a leader, is what he does when there's a problem. Because you cannot prevent, nobody could have prevented COVID, nobody could have prevented the global downfall that happened after that. But how you will be able to separate the boys from the men is what they do in that situation.
What's the internal politics looking like? Is the former president, has he publicly declared his support for him?
If you're asking the wrong person this question, we would have to ask the spokesperson for the former president. But they have.
Oh no, maybe
they have
he hasn't. Then I have.
They have a really nice relationship. We were with him on Sunday for his Thanksgiving. He's in good spirits. I think everything is fine on that front.
Okay.
Everything is fine on that front.
I'll pass you over to Kujo. Kujo.
Yeah. So, and you know, the interesting thing, and I've had a lot of those discussions right on this table, the amount of vindication that is coming on the economic capabilities of His Excellency, the former Vice President. Like I was telling you about what a leader does when there's a problem. It was in the midst of all the problems that we face, that is when he had that plan to start the domestic gold purchase program. And now everybody can attest to the fact that that single policy, the domestic gold purchase program, has contributed greatly to our recovery as a nation. So to finally answer your question, MF, I do believe that with time, Ghanaians will begin to appreciate what was done at that point, what the plan was, what the Ghana card was about, what trying to do the Momo interoperability was, and how it fits into his grand blueprint for development of this country. If you know the whole plan, then you will not be shaken so much. But with time, everything seems to be falling in place, because sometimes some of the vindication comes from the oddest of places. I was very surprised to see that it was in 2025 when NDC is in government and they have appointed all these governors of Bank of Ghana to get such a frank admission from them on what truly was powering the recovery of this.
Has he started nursing the idea of who would be his running mate?
I think it's too early for that.
Too early?
Yes.
Because it's just a few months to November. It's November, December, and next month, Bawumia is coming in right after.
I guess the running mate comes after you won the flag.
I agree. I'm saying that. I'm not saying that maybe. I mean, if you said it to me now, I'll be happy. But is he nursing the idea? Surely he's sitting down. I know he sees somebody. He's like,
No, I think you know. Now the first thing is that the party, the NPP as a party, is having an early presidential primary. So we are having the election a little earlier than we would normally. So that really, I think the last thing on His Excellency's mind is the conversation of running mates.
What's that one thing we'll be seeing him during campaign doing now? Last time, I saw that he was doing a lot of dancing and all of that, which I don't think is so good.
You shouldn't do it.
Well,
I also can't dance. So
I want to pretend I'm not saying this, but I hope you told me not to dance.
I also cannot dance. But I think it's just you don't. Some of these things are not really planned, or it's just a spur of the moment. But I think it's going very well. I haven't been with him in Bono East, but the reports we are getting have been very positive. The people seem very excited to meet him. It's when you go into the hinterlands and you see the reception that the party delegates give His Excellency. That's what gives us some comfort and gives us that confidence.
From delegates? Are you getting comfort from delegates?
Oh, yeah, MFR. The thing with the politics now is that it's very difficult to play a double game. Okay. You cannot be seen to be working for this person and expect to be able to go to this person and be accepted. So it has created a situation where people will stand where they are standing. So you cannot say, when the endorsements, a lot of people were coming out endorsing people. I heard some people say, oh, they are just playing with you. Everybody has seen that you are with this person. You are working for this person. How can you then be with that? That thing doesn't really work so much. So if you have somebody come up on your podium to come and speak on your behalf to his fellow delegates on your behalf, I think it's something that you can take as quite comforting, because he will not be able to do it when the next aspirant comes. It goes to his own credibility.
How many people go on the podiums to?
We interact with them. We even brought out a documentary. I don't know if you've seen it. We have like a whole comms media team to interact with them, do interviews and everything, and it's been very positive. So
the ground is for your team?
The grounds are very fertile from what we've seen so far. And I think there are a lot of polls that would agree with that point. As I always say, we cannot forget that these are people that His Excellency has been working with. It's like you have a boss here at Multimedia. You are happy with this boss. He hasn't done anything to you. Of course, you will continue to look up to his leadership until you are given proper reason to not. It will be very difficult for somebody to come from outside and get more of your affection than who has been leading you all these years. So I think that has been a very clear advantage for us.
Has the team been able to respond to some of the claims by the other aspirants that it looks as though the machinery, the NPP machinery, has been designed to at least help the...
I don't understand when they say that. You see, in any election, when you are losing or when you are struggling to gain grounds, there will be a lot of complaints. So that's usually how you see who is losing, those that are complaining a lot. Because I don't see how the whole party machinery can be skewed in favor of one candidate. I think the national executives have actually tried. They've been quite fair. But you cannot dispute the fact that if like we had to have a party event here today, and you fill the room with about 100 party people, and all the aspirants are to come in one after the other, one would get more of an overwhelming welcome. And how can that be misconstrued as the party machinating for one candidate? It just means they like that person more. But I don't think the national executives as a body, I don't think it will be fair to chastise them in that manner, because I don't see what they could have machinated in favor of His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia. Those who are making those allegations must come with more facts.
Now, in the latest Global Info Analytics, Dr. Bawumia is still leading with some 57%, with Canada Japan some 29.3%. Isn't it too? I mean, 57. Is that something that is convincing?
Which one?
To win the primaries. Global Info says 57% per their polls. He's leading 57. I mean, some people say for you to be able to rally a party like that and to run, you do it emphatically. 80%, between 80 and 90, 57.
Yeah, I mean, and again, that's just a poll, and that's just one poll. But I think the dynamics of every election are different. If we remember in 2007, when His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa was contesting with Alan Kyerematen, it was so close that there was a runoff. But I don't think at that point anybody could have said that the party was not behind His Excellency Nana Addo. So let's actually wait for the real election on January 31st. What we had in 2023 was about a 69-31.
People say even that because there was the state machine, the party machine.
So you see, that's where I have a problem. When you lose an election, it's normal for people to make excuses. We've had people come out of an election and make excuses after excuses. As to whether those excuses are based in facts are a different question. The delegates of the party are about 220 people, not 220,000, sorry, not 220 people. You can't put them in a room and essentially pay them all. No, mostly the money that is given even to delegates on election day is a token, because it's such a large number. Nobody is giving these people 5,000 each. No, it's a token for transport. Most of the accusation was that those who were in government, those that are government appointees who are part of this 200,000, they are about 6,000. Most of these delegates are polling station executives. You don't have anything on them to threaten them or to do anything. So when they say the party's machinery is what caused this, I think it's just a very laughable excuse, because you don't hold a gun to anybody's head in the ballots, in the box when they are voting. Nobody sees who is voting for. So they can truly do whatever they want. And I don't know if you were at our conference at University of Ghana. The delegates are not gullible people, and sometimes I find it insulting when people want to diminish their capabilities and intelligence by trying to paint the picture that everybody can be whipped in line. For the parliamentary candidates, there are some that will go the extra mile to try and, do things to the album and make sure that it's only their own people. They lose. They still lose. You can do your own album, go for an election, and you will lose with it. So it's neither here nor there. The ballots are cast secretly, and just as MFI has been trying to remind me, there's fewer delegates. They will go and vote for who they want to. There's not like a whistle or a bell that you play in NPP, everybody go and do this and you know the dynamics of the party. We are the type that it's very difficult for everybody to even toe a line. So to think that all the delegates can be whipped in line is just a joke. It's just an excuse to placate themselves for the defeats that they had, because they were singing that sound of grassroots support, and 200,000 of the party grassroots said otherwise. So they had to come up with another way about it. And again, with this thing about you've lost once, don't come again, you've lost once, don't come again, and that it is candidate B that would be able to win the hearts of Ghanaian people. When we have a test case that's just in 2023, within the party where everybody would have the most support, if you are truly the grassroots king, how did you poll so little in that election? So it just means that thing that they are going around saying the grassroots will vote for this person, bring them, it's not true. It's not founded in any, it's not grounded. There's no evidence to back that. You've had people.
No. I have two rapid quick questions.
Yes. There's only one test case we've had, which is the 2023 primaries, and you performed quite poorly in that. So how are you sure that people prefer you? It's something that...
So many have called for a debate.
Really?
Yeah, many have called. Is he open?
I don't think a conversation on that has been made. Are they really sure they want a debate?
I mean, this is, for example, political scientists have said that it's not enough that you say, well, vote for me because I create jobs. Vote for me because I do this. A debate allows us to, inquire further, ask questions, how you're going to do
I do agree with that, because even sometimes I meet my brothers on the other side and you say jobs, how are you going to do that? And their response is that the person has built this factory so they can...
But if indeed, would he be open for that?
Would His Excellency be? I think it's something that we'll have to discuss. Looking at the schedule of our campaign right now, I have to say it will be quite difficult, because we are touring every constituency in this country, and that takes some time. We've already left Greater Accra, so it might be difficult, and I don't think...
Oh, for said debates, the quick flight back
MFA seems to really want this debate. It's something... I don't have an answer for you
For
now.
a minute, I just thought, why are we doing the debate? It will just be in Accra for some few minutes and he'll go back to... But anyway...
Yeah.
So, as well, one of the aspirants have had cause to complain about the development fee. Has Dr. Bawumia as well also...
This problem of development fee, I think, is just quite unfortunate, because it is not something new in the makeup of the NPP, and they are not asking you to bring the money yourself. You want to be the flag bearer of the new Patriotic Party. You want to be the presidential candidate. Do we have an idea of how much money is required to run a national election? And it's not, the government of Ghana is not going to give you that money to run that election. You would have to find people that believe enough in your capabilities as a leader to support you to be able to raise funds to run that election. And so the idea is that you should have that people at this point who would support you and help you raise the 4 million. Even parliamentary candidates pay a development fee. Or is that something that even parliamentary candidates in the NPP, I think also in the NDC, pay a development fees, a token towards the running of the party. So I do not see how that should be a matter of discussion or a bone of contention. I think indeed His Excellency has already settled he has already settled all. Yes, he has already settled everything required to be on the party's ticket. So it's not a problem for us at all. And indeed, I don't see how it should be an issue. If you're asking your parliamentary candidate to pay a development fee, you that wants to now come and be the flag bearer, the leader of the whole party, why would you have a problem with
Have you also responded to the consideration that he should be investigated because of some lorries that he had indicated that
I don't even want to waste airtime on.
Oh, I have airtime. I have 2 minutes for you to.
I don't even want to talk about. I don't see how that's a problem. Didn't the NDC buy vehicles for
I think it was a movement for change.
Yes, and sometimes you understand where they are coming from. They seem to have a deep-seated. I can't find a civil word. They seem to have a deep-seated problem. And some of the things I hear them say against the person and character of His Excellency Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, I'm surprised. I don't know where they get all that hate from. But I would not expect that coming from them. They are supposed to be quite experienced in the political game and know how it is. We were just talking about funding. Of course, every candidate will have people that believe in his vision and want to support him. And so funds will be raised for an election. So if funds are raised and pickups are bought for people to go and campaign, how is that a problem? And how does that go against any laws in Ghana we have on campaign financing? In fact, I think our laws on campaign financing are quite lax, so they don't even exist. So I don't see how, as a candidate for a party like the NPP, it's surprising that a candidate is able to raise enough money to buy pickups for the party. It's not something new. Pickups were bought in 2016. Pickups were bought in 2020, 2008. So I think they ran out of conversation on that day.
There is a former aide of your boss who is now a presidential staffer. Mm-hmm. She said in an interview that the question was asked about why she did what she did, and her response was, would you work for a boss who is not in control of what he does and will do what people tell him to do? Mm. You know him better than all of us do. What will be your response to that?
I think when people come and say something, it's very important to look at the context in which they are saying that and what might be motivating them to say what they are saying. I wouldn't want to go too much into the issue of the ex-secretary at our office. She was there for some time, and due to whatever reason, she was let go by the campaign. It's quite understandable that...
Oh, it was a campaign that let her go?
Yes, there was an issue, and then the relationship between the campaign and this secretary was abrogated. Okay. So sometimes it's just important for Ghanaians to take everything she says with a pinch of salt. I, working as a deputy spokesperson to His Excellency, do not have that same experience. I don't think most people on the team have that experience. He's really a man of his own who I don't even see where that line of thinking came from, but it's understandable. If there's, for certain people, when there's a misunderstanding and there's a breakaway, there's a need to generate some political capital out of the previous circumstance to put her wherever she is. And I think that's exactly what happened. I think it was on the back of the scathing interview she granted that she was giving presidential staffer. So obviously she had to earn that position by throwing some dirt our way, which is unfortunate because this is somebody that has supported you over the period. I think even there was some education that the office took care of. So it's quite disappointing that she suddenly has this opinion of His Excellency. But I can sit here and assure everybody that it's a completely false assertion. It was definitely done to earn her seats at the Flagstaff House.
Okay. This one says, Kojo, Dr. Bawumia is the most formidable candidate for the 2028 elections, distinguished by his extensive experience, meticulous preparation, and considerable electoral appeal. His sterling attributes, including humility, compassion, exceptional leadership acumen, integrity, intellectual rigor, and an unrelenting pursuit of excellence, position him as a compelling figure to spearhead and unify the NPP going into the 2028 general election in Ghana. Mancha Bruce, the second in Takrady, brought this one in. All
right, Kojo. Thank you so much. Dr. Eka Marco, thank you as well for joining us in studio. Well, there is more. We shall bring you E-Corner shortly if you indeed stay with us.
Welcome back to the AM show. Let's now talk about the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. And joining me today is Isaac Asari-Bedu. He's the CEO of the Builders Market. Good morning to you, sir. Thanks for coming. I'm told today we're going to talk about what? Bathroom mobility?
Yes.
What is that?
We are not blessed to be able to move as we want. There are some who have mobility challenges, and the bathroom should also be designed for such, I call them less able people, so that they will be able to have the comfort that you and I can enjoy in the washroom.
Okay.
Yes. So the Builders Market, we have what we call the Dock and Park and the Perfect Care. These are a pre-boxed items that are made purposely for people with mobility challenges.
Yeah. So in the washroom, that will be fixed or what? How does that
do
they work?
So the pre-boxed items actually comes with a height WC. Is higher than the ordinary. Then again, it also comes with what we call the grab bars, because they have mobility challenges. So they need certain bars to enable them be able to move around. Then again, it also comes with the folding bar, so that these ones comes where you're able to fix something like the toilet roll for them.
Okay.
And also are used to guard the somebody with less able, somebody who is less able, so that he doesn't even fall off the WC.
Oh, wow,
Yes.
interesting. I think it's the first time I'm hearing something like that.
Good. It even comes with, apart from the toilet, we even have showers. Yes, we have showers for less able people as well.
Wow.
Yes. Last year we did something for Ashasi University. Yes, with the showers and the WCAs.
And what motivated you to come on board the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair as a sponsor?
Right. One, the platform. I've been with this platform for a couple of times.
Okay.
A couple of years. And we know what it brought to the brand. Then again, Ghanaians need education.
Okay.
We buy without knowing what we're buying. So for us, it's more about educating people and making people to know what we have, what is available, so that the architect, the designer, will know where to fetch what. And the plumber will also know where to get what. And the homeowner must also know what he wants before he even starts with the design.
Okay. And when we come for the Habitat Fair, we'll see all of these products that you
Yes, we'll display them. We'll display the perfect care.
Okay.
Yes.
What must we expect? What offerings are you giving us at this?
For us, the 10% discount is not enough.
Okay.
So we will walk you through whatever project you want to do, and help you with people who will be able to help you finish your project.
Okay.
And be able to, I will personally take it as a project of myself and make sure it goes through.
Ah, so you will be the one in charge.
Yes. Yes.
Just to wrap up, what will be your last question?
I'm inviting everybody to come to, I call it the Grand Fair.
Okay.
Yes. So come to the Habitat Grand Fair and look for the Builders Market. You can find us in booth number 13 and 14.
Okay.
And come. We'll talk to you, we'll educate you, and we'll help you to get what you want.
No matter how the pocket,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how low the pocket is. We all know is biting very hard.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of arrangements to enable you to be able to own it, dream it, own it, and live it.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Sir, for coming. He is Isaac Asari-Bedu, CEO of the Builders Market there, and I guess that we would all meet at the EcoBank Joy News Habitat Fair. Now, happy birthday to you, Inshra Mame Safwa Osei Esibe. This is coming from your parent, Andy, and Nana Khan, and sister Oforiwa. They say they love you so much. Happy birthday again to you, Inshra Mame Safwa Osei Esibe. Well, coming up next is your favorite E-Corner with Noella Karin-Yali.
All right, so you're welcome back to your favorite AM show. But of course, like Kojo Brace put it, this is your favorite segment on the show. I do say so myself. It's Noella Karin-Yali with another edition of your favorite E-Corner. And we're just going to go straight into our stories because we've got about, I think, 13 minutes to get out of the studio, and we have to serve you, right? Because you have your teacups ready. So let's get started with Chatawali. First of all, happy birthday to Chatawali. Apparently today is his birthday, and so you'd love to hate him, you'd love to love him. He's very authentic, and he's been able to carve a niche for himself creatively and musically with his authenticity. And so from all of us here, we say a happy birthday to him. But we're going to start with him because this week he came to the Multimedia Group Limited. He visited us. Specifically, he was on the primetime show on Joy Prime Television, had a wonderful conversation with George Quay. I mean, I listened to that interview. I think it was really, really fun, very meaty, very fleshy. And they spoke on a number of things, you know, various topics. They spoke about politics. They spoke about his career choices while he was growing up. What did he want to be? I'm going to tell you more about that. They spoke about President Mahama. They spoke about his Iyoko, you know, tussle. We're going to get into that as well. But specifically, what caught my attention was when George asked him, oh, so you know how growing up we all wanted to be something? Well, I still want to be a lawyer. Growing up, I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and I'm still definitely going to read law. And so he was asked, what did you want to be? He said he wanted to be a pilot, wanted to be a lawyer, and actually still wants to be one day be the president of this country. Take a listen.
Let us assume you found yourself on a flight from Accra to Lagos, and sitting next to you was President John Mahama. Which three things would you discuss with him?
Oh, simple. I think I was telling my boy about this, you know, a while ago. I think last month. I was like, damn, if you're Mahama, Jamaica trying to say, you know, the youth employment is one of the most important things that we have to concentrate on. You know, apart from that, you know, the creative industry has this global, you know, markets that we can push this to. Yeah, that is true. You understand me? And apart from that, you know, the national leadership. Yeah, you know, I sometimes feel we forget that. He came and he campaigned and we voted for him. So when they come into power like this, the national leadership becomes like, you understand me? Like, what you see is that people will be playing political games. People will be, you know, like there's favoritism here. Oh, let's check George Quay. I think George Quay's card that he's using, I think it's, you see, like, we are not paying attention to the system. And that's where, like, the mix-up comes. You see, like, these politicians dragging this politician, and those things all waste our time. You know, when you talk about, you know, the youth employment, that's why I've created something like Shaxi. Because I feel, okay, the government can't do it alone. Okay, if Shatta starts this, it's the government seeing it, because there's Shaxi everywhere. But the only, you know, institution that have called us is the YEA. Yeah. And shout out to Malik Basintelli. Like 5K men. Yeah, 5K men. Like hard guy. You know what I mean? Like these are people that see the future of the country.
something. You know, as kids, we all have dreams and hopes and aspirations of what would be when we grow up. I wanted to be a lawyer. Yeah, McCreary wanted to be a bouncer. Or, you know, so you talk.
Then you won't be bouncer.
When I talk.
That's one time.
Okay.
Cruise control. Then you say you won't be bouncer.
I see some muscles.
Yeah. But the body knows that.
You know, come.
Yeah. So what did you want to be when you were?
Me?
Yeah.
I wanted to be. I chose 3 professions, but one wasn't a profession; it was a job. Like I say, job. It be ordained something. Pilots, lawyer,
and
president.
Because it's not too late. You can still be a lawyer. I mean, Sewa here was called to the bar just about a week or so ago.
She's been bombarding me since she started the law school. She's been telling me I should, but
you should come and join her.
And my timing, where we are, the job we are doing, it's like Galamsey. When you fall inside the hole, to come out by God's grace,
unless not move.
Unless not move. So I was just trying to, check my, schedules and stuff like that. But it's not too late. I can still pursue that cause, but. I feel where God has brought me now, it's more of a leadership kind of thing. So I'm just trying to follow that.
All right, so you heard from Shatawale there telling us what, if he had the opportunity to one day fly with the president, some of the topics or areas he would want to discuss with the president. Very profound, if you ask me. But then again, he was asked about his Iyoko tussle. Obviously, you know that some time ago he was involved or implicated in a stolen vehicle, issue, brouhaha, his car. Somebody was shot in his car and he bought his car from somebody who's a criminal who is also in prison, currently serving some time in the US. It was a whole, one messy, issue. And for the first time, he was asked to react to what he thought about that whole experience. First of all, he says that he thinks that state agencies or institutions can handle issues involving notable people of society like himself better. He actually drew an analogy saying, just like how, when the president is, for instance, sick or is implicated in something, they would want to cover it up and, very silently fix the issue or do whatever with the issue. He believes the same treatment must be extended to notable people in the society like himself, because they all play their part. And then, interestingly, he says Raymond Acha is now his best friend. And I find it interesting because, first of all, let's throw back to that time, which was several weeks ago. Let's take a look at his posture, his demeanor at the time, and then I'll tell you what he thinks of Raymond Acha. I'll bring you that clip as well.
I didn't get any vehicle from the so-called Nana Kwabena Amwa. I am a third party to that Lamborghini car. Make people get that thing in front of my head inside. The game where you put the play, you write letter, and I don't know where the letter from. They don't go write it, but it be how you want to spread the matter, make the matter look like Shatawale, they in trouble. You can never. Because on God, I tell you, I did not get a vehicle from that so-called Nana Amwa or Nana Kwame something. It not being inside the car for me. So don't come and give me case. You came to my house because of a Dubois. Now, you change the whole matter, make it go look like right now, because if you use a Dubois and get the car, no, right now it be from some Nana Amwa. Remote, I can't tell me from outside. The team where they say you come out, can't tell me about any Nanamwa. Don't lie to the people. Listen, Raymond Acha told me in his office that the car they shoot somebody for inside, but I know that was I don't know. And bro, that is what scared me. I was like, Chewa, if you say they shoot somebody for the car inside, I beg. Then let me just leave you to do your investigation, because I don't want any criminal thing around. Chewa, this one they help me. That is how come. I didn't even drive the car there. I called my drivers, one of my...
But for time, we should have allowed this video play in full, because my favorite part is actually at the latter part of the video, where he actually quoted a Bible verse for Raymond Acha. So that was him some weeks ago. This time around, he says Raymond has become his best friend and that he believes God sent Raymond Acha to educate the people of Ghana. Take a look.
Yeah.
How does that affect you, your brand as a man? How do you think it affects our creative sector as a whole? I mean, acts like that.
It doesn't only affect my brand. I think it affects the whole creative sector. You know, because it might be Shatawale today. The next time it might be you, because we are not just paying attention to what is happening. Shatawale is a celebrity. I'm not bigger than the law of this country. I'm loved, yes, I know, but it doesn't get into my head. I don't feel big about it. I feel when there is a problem in this country, the way we want to handle the president's problem when he's sick, that we hide him in a car flying to America to go and check, it's the same way we need to handle every important person in this country, because we are all playing roles. I can boldly say that I have made more money than even Ministry of Finance in this country. That they say they are bringing money into the country. I've brought more money into the country than the Ministry of Finance. I've brought more money into the country than Ministry of Tourism. I've created jobs, like I've created things for people that, you know, when you sit down, you go like, you know, Shatta is really helping. Raymond Acha is now my best friend because I feel God sent him for us to educate the people of Ghana. And that's what he did.
On how to buy cars appropriately.
Yes, I mean, appropriately.
From the right source.
Yes. And
buyer beware.
Yes. Yeah. So that is one of the problems you have solved in this country. I think he's tried. Maybe people might think he arrested me and blah, blah, and blah, blah. But all what he did was God ordained. You know what I mean? He's really opened our eyes to certain things. So I think it's about time the youth have to be wise and know how to purchase properties. You know, and me too, that is what I'm doing right now. Like, if I want to purchase something, man, it was stolen.
All right, so that was Shatawale. I'm glad at least he sees the bigger picture and what government was trying to do now. Yeah, so kudos to him. And once again, happy birthday to him. I had a last story for you that had to do with Gabrielle Union. Let me just tell you about it. So 2002, you know, she visited Ghana with her husband, Dwayne, and then they had a beautiful experience here in Ghana. I remember they visited a couple of tourist sites, including a waterfall. I've forgotten the exact waterfall. But apparently that, you know, that experience really impacted them spiritually. And she was sharing, you know, details about that experience. But unfortunately, we are unable to play you that. But that's it for eCorner Out for today. Hopefully next Friday we'll have ample time to bring you a great show. My name is Noella Karani Ali. Coming up next is Joy News Desk with Mami C. Thompson. Stay tuned in.